Greetings and welcome once again to Roman of the Empire. I am your host, Roman. This week we are going to be delving into the icky world of pop culture once again. There are things happening. It's not a ton happening right now, but there are things happening, and we're going to discuss what those things are. Evening I meant. Okay, all right, fine, Ryle. So, we'll go around the horn. We'll say hi to everyone, and then we will get this thing going. We are down 3 of our team members tonight. Sammy, Joker, and Mando. They may be together. They may be trapped in the back of a police vehicle. We don't know the answer to that. So if any of you have spotted them, just give us a call. Give us a call over at the Empire so Papa can stop worrying about them. So, but we'll see. With me, as always, he is my partner on this channel. He is my wingman. He once stopped me from carpet bombing Gary, Indiana, because that song is still pretty cool. Gary, Indiana. Although it is an unpopulated dead zone now, but what are you going to do? He is Shieldwall of Dragons. Welcome back, my friend. How are you this week?
Hey, how's it going, everybody? Yeah, and also it's named Gary, so
what are you gonna do?
Exactly. Yeah, glad to be here with everybody, and our great guest, Eclectic Goat, talking about goats and stuff earlier. It was a lot of fun.
We were talking goats. We were talking goats in the green room. Fucking Sandy,
exactly.
Goddamn late.
Here he is. Look at him. He's got a new haircut, so he's looking all fresh.
He does. We'll talk about that in a moment, folks, because he does look fetching.
Yep. All right. So yeah, but happy to be here. We got a free range tonight. Going to talk about some topics and things. Pop culture, maybe just get a little wild. We'll see.
We don't know. You're right. I have been drinking since about noon, so this could go anywhere today, folks. It's exciting. And I blame Mrs. of the Empire for that, because she's like, so we need to go to the mall today, but as a reward, we can go to this Mexican restaurant and you can have some margaritas. And I was like, okay.
Oh, I thought you had to pregame just to go to the mall. You were like, the mall? Like,
no. We went to this delightful Mexican joint, and it was fantastic. The margarita was on point, my friends. Blibbity blah 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 blah. He is the meme master of the interwebs, using his power for good instead of evil, down to 2% of the time, my friends. He is Jacob Ironside. Welcome back, my friend. How are you? Are the raccoons moving with you?
I'm trying to sneak away without the raccoons knowing I'm moving. So I'm being very sneaky about moving. But you never know. They find out somehow. They find out.
Those raccoons have ninjas working for them, Jacob. You need to hire a samurai to fight them off.
Yes, that's what I need. And that's what I need. Samurai.
Well, you never know. You never know how these things are going to work out. I mean, it's a terrifying business. His beard has been spotted in New York hunting chuds in the sewers. He is Beard of Liberty. I don't know why this week, Beard. I don't know. Welcome back, my friend. How are you this week?
How many of us know what
I'm doing fairly well. I briefly looked over what we're getting into tonight, and, well, there are some things to be said, I'm sure. So let's not delay. There's plenty to cover.
There is.
I just realized something. Beard is one a guy who almost never seen anything until we watch it. Beard, have you actually seen Chud? Did you get Roman's reference?
No.
There's no way.
No.
There's no way.
No.
Cannibalistic humanoid underground dwellers? It's a classic, Beard.
Nope.
That's your homework assignment, Beard.
It's right up there with Wolven in quality.
Well, no. I mean,
but without the sexual energy of
Albert
Patrick.
Chud's a better movie.
Albert Finney.
Yeah.
Albert Finney. I'm sorry, God, I couldn't remember the British actor with no life in his name. God help us all. Welcome.
How dare you forget his name? How dare you?
It's
How
hard
dare
because
you stand where he stood?
He's barely a man. He's even barely in Wolfen. He's just kind of there, has strange sex, eats a lot of donuts, and carries around a brown bag with him for the entire film. It's a weird vibe. It's a weird vibe.
Look at his style. I mean, What other kind of man, other than a Giga Chad, would wear a V-neck sweater underneath a sweatshirt and a sweatband jogging?
Where do you go with that? Where do you go with
exactly.
that? It's a thing. Blah, 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 blah. He is the man who knows all the things about all the things. He is the unbearable 73 that Thad shouldn't be. Bloody but awesome Matt. I could pronounce it this week. I'm so proud of myself. Welcome to the show, my friend. I know you have had a week, and I'm really happy you are here tonight, my friend. How are you doing?
2 weeks of
you've had more than actually even more than that, but golly.
I'm doing okay. I'm more recovering. For those who don't know, I was in the hospital again on Tuesday night. I'm more recovering from the actual hospital, being stuck in the hospital gurney overnight, than I am from the actual injury or whatever it was.
Oh,
that just
Lord.
mysteriously cured itself.
Was it?
That's so like magic, like some kind of dark magic.
Well,
so
I mean, some people like to get the gross
the
details
chicken
of this.
in my yard.
Just to give you I won't go ultra gross. I don't like the gross details of this, but I had those 2 bloody incidents on like 2 Wednesdays ago, and then the Saturday, right, where I was bleeding from somewhere that I couldn't see, squirting blood and all that. This time, I woke up in bed. I was laying down watching YouTube. I just recorded, in fact, a video about that'll be out on the weekend with the questioners, and I'm sliding off the bed to go take the bathroom. And I'm like, why is it so wet down there? And there's a big pool of blood under me. But the previous times when I got to go to the bathroom, that's when the blood all over the place. I stood up and nothing came out. It was like it all went in one shot. And it was the exact opposite experience of what I had. So it was like, it's a strange mysteries of wounds.
Matt's house is a lot like the
like a scene out of Hellraiser.
Okay, there we go. I was looking for the one that I couldn't figure. That one fits.
In fact, it's funny. I mentioned that. Like, you remember if those who see Hellraiser, when the hooks hook into you and pull out the streaks of blood that hit the walls, that's what it looked like when it was squirting blood.
Bad timing at Matt's for a holiday party.
Yes.
Well, you need to stop playing with those puzzle boxes, Matt.
Yeah, I know. I just can't stop the damn limit configuration. I can't stop myself.
What just happened? Something popped up on my phone that looks interesting.
And I saw 5 minutes of the newer Hellraiser movie. It was horrible.
Lord!
Whoever made that movie did not read the original book.
Did anyone expect that to be good? I mean, I'm usually pretty
pretty
optimistic, and I thought it was going to be terrible.
I don't expect.
Well, someone has to be. I am not. Musician, pop culture aficionado, YouTube prostitute, man of the people, sporting a brilliant new haircut. He is Sammy the Repeat. Welcome back, Sammy. How are you tonight, my friend?
Hi, guys. Thanks for noticing. Yeah, I'm great. I'm excited just to hang out, have a free range with you. It's been a little bit since I've been able to catch a free range, and I think this is the first time that we've actually had Goat on the show where I'm either here or you're here. So the stars have finally aligned.
Yeah, it takes some work to get it, but Mando has managed to avoid it once again. So what are you going to do? It is what it is. And then we're down to, she is not the mundane goat, nor the dogmatic goat. She is the eclectic goat. Welcome back to the show, my friend. It is great to have you with us. How are you this week? How many animals have been birthed on the Eclectic Goat farm?
20 in the last 48 hours.
Oh my God! That's actually more than I thought. More than I thought.
And a surprise baby goat since the last time I was on this show. I literally had a goat who just one morning wouldn't get up, and I thought she was dying. So I had my husband bring her up, and then I was on Dadman's stream, which ran over, which I was kind of worried about. So I went out to take her temperature, and she was in labor. No idea she was pregnant. Wow. No idea how she got pregnant.
Well, I know how. It's not the house in which Mando sneaking in the back door.
Oh, that's how my goat got pregnant.
You know, I can neither confirm nor deny that maybe that happened or not.
So the great part is it was another girl, which means we have had a perfect girl goat kidding for this year, which I don't think has ever happened.
So in the goat world, like financially, is that like a better offering, or is there a mixture of male goats and a better thing? How does that work with the goats?
So in our case, it was just sort of that we really, if we'd had 6 boys, we would have really been in trouble.
Okay.
6 girls was a surprise. I mean, in a perfect world, we would have had like 5 girls and 1 boy that we could have traded for another boy. But as it is, we had so many girls, we had to go out and buy 2 boys because we only have 1 buck.
Wow.
We only had 1 buck. We only had 1 buck on the property, so we couldn't breed him back to his daughters. So
that's not good. Even in many states where it's almost normal, it's not good in reality. That's how you end up with 3-headed goats.
On the upside, we have now ended up with 4 female Oberhaussies, which are going to be our milking line. And they are all incredibly healthy. They are all very large, which means they probably can be bred immediately this fall.
Oberhaussies?
Damn. Yeah, they're a very large brown goat with a black stripe down their back, and they're big. They're big milk producers. Puzzle is our oldest one, and her legs are so short that we are having issues because her udder only hangs about an inch off the ground. So her baby is having trouble nursing because her udder is so huge.
That's a low udder. That's a low udder.
We have to put her on the milking stand and then hold the baby under her because otherwise she can't reach.
Oh no!
That's utterly terrible.
That.
You get a lot of things over here at the Empire, folks. You get music, you get film, you get udders.
Weird goat stories.
Strange goat stories. That's good. But that's why we have you here, because I can't get that anywhere else.
I have a chicken with short legs.
But does she also have a low udder? That's the question.
Well, the thing is that it's not that she has a low udder; it's that her udder is huge. Her udder is just huge. She can produce something like a gallon a day.
Just gaze at her udder, and she's like, "My udder up here, fellas." How does that go?
Yeah. I mean, they snuffle it a lot.
On, boys.
I don't even know where to go.
Don't even know how to answer that one. But yeah, she can produce like a gallon a day when she's not nursing.
Wow.
That's
a lot. I didn't realize goats can produce that much,
isn't it?
Most of them can't, but she comes from a good milking line, and she's a good goat.
What do you do with the milk? Are you making cheese
about Elvis?
I make cheese. I cook a lot. At the moment, we're feeding it back to the umpteen million babies we have running around.
Yeah. Original purpose.
Yeah. Next, we're trying really hard to raise money for an actual milker, because right now it takes me so long to milk that many goats.
Oh, you're talking about the mechanical milker?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It takes me so long to milk that many goats twice a day that it's really problematic. So hopefully because we're gonna have 7 more next year.
Lord,
because all those babies will be grown up and ready for make babies themselves.
Have you thought about employing Oompa Loompas?
No. Though honestly, they might be good for milking. They might be good for milking SCIs. LCIs are really hard to milk because they're very tiny goats. They're only like 25 pounds.
I'm glad you clarified and finished that sentence, because you first said to the Oompa Loompas they might be good for milking, and I thought that was going to be full stop.
It should have been. That would have been it for me. I would have been fine with that.
Well, where do you think the cherry flavor comes from?
Let's say hi to our chat. And for those of you over on X, you can participate in the chat as well. Just join the conversation. You can do it from over there. I know it's possible, my friends. Also, please tell your friends we're on right now. Always trying to get those numbers up. So, Squeak a Mouse. Are we going to talk milk? Are we going to milk the puns? Yes, almost certainly. There's no way we can't. In fact, Squeaka, thank you for joining us tonight, my good friend. Jack Tarlad, welcome to the chat. I don't know if you've been with us before,
Yeah,
but
welcome,
welcome to the
Jack.
show, my friend.
I just have to mention I just
He does a
came
lot
from
with
his.
Tomby. He's on Tomby's show a lot.
You want a Tommy? So I love Tom. Tommy's a good friend. Good friend. Love Tommy. What in the fuck, Sammy? Because what it looks like that's gonna be weird. It looks like me, you, and a pig is what it looks like to me, and I may be wrong with this.
That's actually the preview for my new show that premieres tonight on Rumble, and where me and two buddies are doing police videos. We're just reviewing them, and it's called Two Sieves and a Pig, and.
Oh my God. That's my boy. Ryan.
That's great.
Fuck, Sammy. Welcome to the show.
Hey, Rio.
Sammy is already killing me. Frank Yateley, welcome back, my friend. Always good to have you with us. And I think that is about it for the chat tonight. Remember, let your friends know that we're out there tonight. We are battling lots of Thursday night traffic now. That's all part of our new reality, but it is what it is. So we'll dive over and
wait, Roman, what time is it?
Oh, what time is it? My God, Jacob. I always forget because I'm an idiot and I don't know the time, but it's time for
Heavenly shades of memes are falling. It's in time.
It's meme time, everyone. Brought to you by
Such a good bumper.
Jacob Ironside. It is the best. Oh, I have to brace myself every week, folks, because I never know what Jacob is going to throw at me. I do not preview these beforehand because I need to be as shocked as you are. So to our friends over on YouTube and X, thank you for joining us tonight, and please let your friends know that we are on. Invite them to come join us over here at the Empire, the strange little land we occupy.
Just shocked, or are we allowed to also be horrified?
No, usually horrified. That's where I end up. So let's
can we
check
do
it out.
shock and awe?
You really, Jacob Frankenstein?
Is that for the new Epic Universe
It's
park?
Frankenstein. Frankenstein, I beg your pardon.
Frankenstein.
So do you pronounce it Frederick? No, Frederick. All right, have it your way. I look a little bit like Frankenstein Hitler. It's mildly disturbing, but oddly, it kind of works.
You also look like you're very approving of being Frankenstein. You're like, yes.
Yes, I like being the Frankenstein.
Not so bad.
I am
Instead, I was.
I am the monster.
Actually, you look like
Do
you're
you
saying,
have a
"Where's my
cigar?"
teen?"
Look kind of like the leader from the old comics too.
Oh, yeah, pretty good. That's true. Oh, Eraserhead just joined us. Hello, Eraserhead. Good to see you. Welcome, my friend. Lord, Jacob.
This is just a tribute, you know. This is what we wanted, but didn't get.
No, that is very true. I don't know if I can't be alone in this. I am tired of Pedro Pascal.
I forget his name.
Same.
It's
Michael
the guy
Chiklis,
from the new Twister. The guy from the new Twister. It's that guy.
Glenn Powell.
Yeah.
All the women are not happy that you covered him up with all their rocks.
Yeah.
But
I did like the original actor for the thing, Michael Chiklis from.
I agree. He was great.
He was good.
Shield.
He was good.
He was solid. But John Krasinski as fucking Mr. Fantastic, great, and pretty much I'm not gonna lie, almost any blonde girl as Sue Storm was gonna be okay. We're gonna talk about this tonight a little bit and some of the faux pas they've made. If anybody can find me the poster that they've just put out, please do, because fuck my life. Hello, love it. Nice to have you with us. No, Pedro has to just stop being in fucking everything.
I think he's been to a couple of parties, and that's why he's getting so many roles.
To be fair, like if somebody kept offering me millions of dollars to be in everything.
Oh no, I would do it too. I don't blame you.
Yeah.
But
wanna
I
call
got
it-
the first Gimp
he's
mask
like a
wearing lunatic you've met.
actor though. Like let's be real. Like, can he act? Sure, yeah, he's solid, but he's not like fantastic. Like
No.
yeah.
Also, to be
No,
fair,
no,
most-
he's just everywhere. And Jacob, thank you for this. This is great. I love this. This is
most
good.
of
We're
our
going to talk
problem
about
with,
this tonight too.
Most of our problems with Pascal come from his real life politics and being a jerk and all that. I mean,
Well, like, sure, yeah. Like I've
yeah,
always
such a
been
douche
of the
pickle.
opinion,
But
like I
he's-
always think that most
He's
actors,
being
unless
he's
proven
also
otherwise,
being miscast.
but yes, I agree. He should not be in everything because he is not that kind of actor. He's like a one or two trick pony, and he has his
He's-
thing.
He's not Christian Bale.
Correct.
and
He's
also-
definitely not playing the smartest man in the world. Okay,
well, he's a dumb motherfucker. Marty, but-
Well said.
No, I mean,
And
seriously.
and
Think
crystallize
about
my
this one,
thoughts
okay?
eloquently.
Now, you got one on a ranch, Roman. You got one on a ranch. It triggered me. Think about this, right? You get to season 1 and season 2 of The Mandalorian, right? A character who never reveals his face, right? So only time you see the Mandalorian's face should be one or two key moments, like when he said goodbye to Grogu, for example, or something like that, right? But if this douche nozzle complains, people were loving him for this role where you don't see his face, which we didn't know his face from like looking him up. Yet he complained about his guy's face showing more in the second season because he's a douche nozzle.
And he is.
The other
His
thing
attacks
is that
are not good. Go ahead, Shieldwall, please.
and the way that and they had to make him take his helmet off at the end of the first season, which was terrible for a robot. No, dude. And then he takes it off so he can do some kind of retina scan thing in an episode right before he has the big reveal to Grogu. So I don't know. It felt like it lost all of its emotional impact.
Mhm.
But it's Disney.
Well,
so-
and
you
then
guys
it
know
became
who-
irrelevant with season 3.
Do you guys?
Mandalorian.
Do you guys?
Oh.
Do you guys know who was actually under the mask most of the time?
Someone else.
It was John Wayne's grandson.
What? I didn't know that. Really?
Yes.
Why couldn't they
That's
just
nuts.
have him be?
I know that Pedro was
Exactly.
kind of like doing all the voice work in 3 because he'd gone off to other jobs.
No, he was. Yeah, it was all. Yeah.
And he was literally phoning it in.
Yeah, and 3 was hot garbage
Oh yeah.
with the turkey.
It was
trap.
bad. It was terrible.
Bad.
Well, that's and then
It
in like
started out
the
good.
Book of Boba Fett, where we're delving into territory which we know is poison. It is Star Wars poison. Unlike, and I'm going to say this, and please don't get mad at me, audience. You're with us tonight, and I really appreciate that. Those of you watching over on YouTube and on X, Andor season 2. Episodes 1 through 3 were complete garbage. Don't watch them. But episodes 4 through 12 are gold. They're really good drama, spy.
Yeah.
It's actually very
I agree.
interesting and compelling to watch. You want to see what happens in the next episode. It's really weird. But unfortunately, because of episodes 1 through 3 and the rest of the Star Wars garbage they've thrown at us, no one is watching. No one cares. They brought some brilliant performances in. Stellan Skarsgård is always good, but the supporting cast around it was just it's a very good show that no one's going to watch because
They
again,
Disney always seems to shoot themselves in the foot.
they do. It's like okay, this is a great show.
The thing is though that like Andor season 1 was good, period, and still nobody watched it. That's why they went from doing 5 seasons of the show to doing 2. So
Yeah,
it was already doomed.
Nope, you're right. So Jacob, we're going to talk more about Batman and Deadpool tonight. Thank you for this. This makes me look good. I feel very fit. And I have a full head of hair, and I look a little bit like Don Draper, which makes me pretty happy.
Get ready.
Prepare
yourself, Roman.
damn it, Jacob, really? My life, you had to do it.
My God.
Son of a bitch.
Not gonna
Jacob
lie,
Ironside, why am I
pretty hot.
flaming torch?
Dude,
Why am I
Because
playing
you play with
Rock?
fire.
This, oh,
You know why? You know why?
Because you play with
You
fire.
know why? There's only one of us that has caught our friend on fire in the last year. that I'm aware of.
allegedly.
Blair the Blair, welcome, my
Allegedly.
friend. No, it's
Hey,
not even
Blair.
allegedly. Allegedly is if we're actually doing it for legal purposes. We're not. We're just straight out throwing accusations.
And she has the hospital records to prove it. Dang it!
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Mando, you're the one that told us about it. So
I am.
You did freely give up that information.
I did.
Yep.
I mean, I've got a good chin.
Dude, look at my rockin' tits.
They're kind
No,
of small.
your boobs look nice.
Yes,
Those are
Joker.
very firm. They're nice. They're symmetrical.
Supple.
They're not too big.
Yeah.
Who is that? Joker is the thing.
Yeah.
Sammy's looking at this now and thinking maybe he got the wrong haircut.
Right.
Yeah.
He's like, I could be a girl.
All I'm saying
Sammy's
is-
not looking at his hair.
But then the carpet wouldn't match the drapes.
Yeah.
And,
all I'm saying is Sammy is
Yeah.
lucky.
I just need to get my hair a little bit
Vegas.
shorter again, and I would have that
The
haircut.
vomit scene.
the Joker thing looks like JoJo Siwa. That's what she's gonna grow
It's
into.
very disturbing. I'm going to say, though, that I make a better Mr. Fantastic than Pedro Pascal does.
100%.
Wait.
You do.
Who's the female Silver Surfer
Exactly.
in the background there?
Oh, her face was too small.
If it's like that movie poster, that's a dude that they added some.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, that totally was.
Giving it the Taskmaster treatment from the Black Widow movie.
God help us. And again, thank you to everyone over on YouTube and X who are watching us right now. Holy fuck, it is the albino bear himself. Speaking of rockin' titties, that's all you, Sammy. You bring the udder, my friend.
Hey.
Wait, what?
Oh, I was just going to say I haven't seen White Bear in ages.
And we have someone. Hello, Paul
Multipass.
Henrich.
Yeah, welcome.
Thank you for joining us. I don't think I've seen you out there before. Welcome to the show, Multipass. You know,
Well, he's going to fit right in. It's already saying
we have a problem already with Paul and my hatred of the Fifth Element. That's actually a really good, Jake. Again, I make a better Mr. Fantastic than.
So don't take this the wrong way, Roman, but that wouldn't be hard.
But so go back real quick. But look at they even got like a smirk on your face. Like, how did he do that? Like, where did he get a picture of you halfway smiling? You never smile.
I've smiled. It's happened in the last 3 years.
Yeah, but this is like a pose smile.
Right,
Like,
yeah. I bet that's Pedro
It
Pascal's
is a
mouth.
pose
he used.
smile.
Is that his mouth? Did you put my face on his
No,
mouth?
it's not. No, it's not.
Oh,
The picture I
freezing.
used is you smiling. Oh,
you know
thought-
it's probably one of your like after show pics.
filthy mouth.
That
I thought the phrasing was
Yeah,
intentional.
that's what it is.
I've not been here previously. Well, welcome to the show. It gets weird. That's not unintentional, but I hope you enjoy it. We are still going through our meme section of the week, which is my favorite part of the show. And then we're going to dive into the pop culture part this week, which is horrific and mildly intestinal blocking. So you just bear with us on that, though. Like, why is that back? Why is this back?
I think he missed warning that you're already
Didn't have
drunk.
much time. Okay.
No, that may be true. That may be true. Why? It's back again. Again, it does work, and that hair is kicking.
This is like what Sammy was dressed like in Vegas.
That is Sandy in Vegas. That's true. That's
How else do you dress for Vegas?
Exactly.
fair enough. Fair enough. I wore a Hawaiian shirt. That was as crazy as I get. What the fuck is
I
happening?
love this. I love this forever.
What's the, I don't know. I might have some part of my brain is damaged. I can't make out who that is. That could be either Mando or Sammy or possibly Beard with no beard.
That's Sammy.
That's
No,
Sammy.
that's
Okay.
me. That's me.
The-
man.
Look at that chin.
There's a 7-year-old kid in me losing his fucking mind right now.
The facial expression was all Sammy.
No, it does get
Yep.
weird for. Wait, what? Goat? Really? You're just throwing that out there like candy? Okay, fine. That's
Wow.
Whatever. Hey, come to the van. We have chocolate.
Yeah.
Um.
Yeah. Just call her the Giving
Fine.
Tree because she's throwing shade.
Oh my God. Oh, we got Blair and Beard and fucking Jacob. That's nice. That's a good.
Yeah, this doesn't even look Photoshopped to me.
Oh,
I'll take it.
Miss
I'll take
Sparkles,
it.
hello. Welcome to the show. Nice to have you with us. Very much
Hey, Sparkles.
appreciated. I will apologize for anything I say in the next 2 hours. I have been drinking.
Don't just throw it out there like that.
Well, no,
Yeah,
but it's already
Roman, you
out
can't
there. Someone else already put it out there. Like again, candy in a
I
van.
mean,
Hey,
To be
I've got
to be
chocolate.
to be
Order
fair,
some
I would have said it
chocolate.
even if you weren't drinking.
Yeah.
Good point, and actually well accepted. I'm gonna have to get more. I'm almost out of alcohol already.
Before we
it's
move
all
off
good.
of the memes, Roman,
Sir, what?
if
What?
anybody in the chat has any ideas for memes, just send me a message on Twitter, on X, because I could always use ideas.
Please.
I mean,
don't
I was really hoping to someday end up as Couscous, the llama in the Emperor's New Groove.
Please don't encourage him.
Yes.
Awesome.
Oh Lord. That's it for the memes this week, Jacob. Well done as always. Yeah, you never failed to disappoint with the memes.
This was a good selection of memes, but when we have a movie or something, Jacob, they are so much better.
Yeah, that's
Oh my
ridiculous.
God.
Yeah.
And they're nightmarish, frankly, depending on the movie.
They're not
really
nightmares.
So I know that
a little
Roman
terrifying.
just said you never fail to disappoint with the memes, but I think that was a drunk compliment.
Let it go where it will, Beard. Look, I'm
Let it
doing my best right now.
Let it go.
Whoa. That's awkward for all of us. And
Well, depending on what state
more
you
so
live
for
in,
Sammy
you don't even
than
need
anyone else,
AI
I
to do that.
think.
I'm not gonna lie,
got nothing.
Sammy makes a good-looking woman. I'm just saying.
I was
Not in a
gonna
gay
say
way.
So we're gonna start diving into our stories tonight, and please fucking connect. There we go.
But I don't
We all
want
know
to.
it's because of my rockin' tits.
Oh wait, no, this is this the one I wanted?
Oh man.
No, it is. It is.
anybody else remember the guy that was bet $1 million by his friend that he couldn't have boobs for a year?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, I do
Lord.
remember that.
Wasn't
And
that the Hangover 3?
No, it was a real thing. It was a real life thing. And the guy ended up when he won the $1 million, he ended up going and getting a bigger cup size because his wife really liked them.
I can't live in this world anymore.
It's called the Pedro Pascal story.
Fuck my life across the multiverse. So Marvel Studios, this is an interesting story for a couple of reasons, though. They have delayed Doomsday and Secret Wars. These are their big, giant movies that are coming out that they actually expect people to come see, unlike pretty much anything else they're putting out.
That's
But they've been delayed by
just the
7
norm
months.
for
Substantial.
them. So
Well, remember, Marvel hasn't had, and we're taking Deadpool and Spider-Man out of the mix because Spider-Man is a Sony product and Deadpool is just a weird fucking
Why are
thing.
you saying
So-
Spider-Man like he's a Jewish lawyer? My name is Tom Spider-Man.
yeah, Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
That's how he says it.
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man says it that way.
This
He's
is
from the
Sheila
Bronx.
Pokemon.
So they've been fuck off, Sammy. They've been delayed by 7 months. So I found this part funny though. So I get down to this paragraph here.
Oh my god.
Marvel has multiple films in development, including Blade, which is not true anymore. Black Panther 3, which no one is going to see, Shang-Chi too.
which even less number of people are going to see.
I thought
God.
I heard that
Again.
Shang-Chi 2 got canceled too.
More people are going to see Blade, which got canceled, than are going to see Shang-Chi too. That's just not going to fucking happen.
You know,
So they're also talking about. I've seen this around too. So the new actor they want to get instead of Nick Cage, and this hits me right in the eggplant balls. They're looking at Ryan Gosling, and you know how I feel about Ryan Gosling. Ryan Gosling, the plank of wood, who I despise as an actor, not as a human, but as an actor. Why? Why?
You don't
Why?
need too much depth to play Ghost Rider, though. Like,
But they could have Nick Cage. Just bring him back. He's
Well, you
older,
do.
He's fun.
you're doing an actual
So-
Ghost Rider story.
Do keep in mind that they replaced Edward Norton as the Hulk
I wanted him for the Black Panther. I wanted Nick Cage for the Black Panther.
Or no, that's supposed to be.
Sorry, dying.
But aren't they? I thought they were going to use Nick Cage for somebody else, though.
Spider-Man Noir.
Yeah, so he can't play both roles.
Yeah.
one of them is animated. Yes, he can.
For
Spider-Man. No, I thought he was actually.
No,
Spider-Man
it's a
Noir.
live action.
Yeah, I thought it
It's
was
a
is
live
it?
action.
Live
It's a
action.
Yeah, it is
live
live
action
action.
noir.
By the
Yeah.
way,
I'm
I don't
very
care if they
excited
drop
about that.
every actor and cast Nick Cage in every single role.
You're not wrong.
Well, I'm really
Exactly.
sad
That
would be
because
perfect.
I wanted an animated Spider-Man.
But go back to your point about the Hulk. Better Hulk. Help me.
Edward Norton.
Skinny guy.
Edward Norton. Yeah.
Ed Norton was a great Hulk. He was a great. The problem with Ed Norton is he's apparently a fucking nightmare to work with.
Yeah, he's a huge
And
pain in
Mark
the ass.
Rubio, as much as I despise him as an actor, is probably very easy to work with because you just tell him what to do and he'll fucking do it.
Well, but keep in mind they say Henry Cavill is hard to work with too, and that usually just means they have strong feelings about how their character should act.
Right,
Edward Norton-
exactly.
Henry Cavill was
Edward
labeled
Norton.
hard to work with because of the Witcher, and that's
Yeah,
just because
yeah,
he
they were
respected
probably
the
like-
lore and the writers didn't.
Right,
Yeah, we
but
got an
so did
idea.
that was the issue
Yeah,
with Edward
right.
Norton too.
Well, people
No,
don't realize this.
Edward
Edward
Norton
Norton
had
saved
different
that
ideas,
movie.
though.
He saved that
Oh.
movie.
Yeah, he did.
That they were going to.
Oh no! Without Ed Norton in that, fuck, that would have been fucking
He
horrible.
rewrote the.
Adam
he
Gray,
rewrote,
welcome.
he
Yeah.
rewrote
Wait,
good
what
chunks
the
of the
fuck?
movie.
What does that mean? Are you insane? He is the gold brick
Why?
of fucking acting brilliance in our time. I
No,
can't
you're
believe you
talking
said
to
that,
a-
Adam.
Hey, when
You're
he's
talking
walking,
to a ghost. He just wants to
when
hang out
he's
with
walking
Nick Cage.
with a, when Nick Cage
What's
is
up, Mighty
walking
von
with a
Wolfenstein? I like it.
little,
Hello, Zax.
I want Nick Cage to act until he's pushing around a little cart to stand up straight. Okay.
You all need to go see the greatest Nick Cage film of all time, Con Air.
Yes.
Oh, Con Air is
I mean-
fucking amazing.
It is.
Steve Buscemi in that is my favorite part of the fucking movie.
Yeah.
Con Air is a wonderful action movie, and I love it. But Willy's Wonderland is just so awesome on so many levels, and it's
Yeah,
just so
Willy's
much.
Wonderland is great.
It's
I
hysterical.
don't know what that is.
It's
Lord
hysterical.
of War is awesome as well.
Oh yeah.
Oh, Lord of War is good.
Yeah, so like Nick Cage does not talk at all in Willy's Wonderland. It's just
No,
body language,
but-
and it's a riot.
Back in the pop.
Really?
I can give you that. So next one up for our stories tonight. Please fucking load. Oh God, you
By
loaded
the way,
it.
lost in that article that you skipped over completely is they're naming the next Spider-Man film with a title that is the biggest FU Spider-Man fans they could possibly have chosen. Just be aware. Brand New Day.
Yes, which is akin to One More Day.
It's the follow-up to One More Day. Like it's
Yeah.
literally like the next day after One More Day. It's Brand New Day, which
Yep.
is when they erased the Spider-Man mask from Mary Jane. They made him a teenage jerk again. You know.
Mm.
No,
And
I know,
and it's
I-
also a terrible Sting album.
Yes, I know it was 2 decades ago, but he's aging well for a man of his era, of which I am. And
I say
Hey,
he's in a brand new
The
renaissance.
movie where he played Dracula. Wow.
He's
Oh,
He was
Really,
good as
Adam?
Renfield?
Really, Adam?
Nicolas
We're just
Cage.
going to do that to
Yeah.
me? You're just going to throw that at me?
Yeah.
Something like that? That's just mean, Adam. That's just cruel. I'm hurt.
That was pretty
I'm
mean,
hurt
dude.
right here, Adam.
he was the best part of that movie, the Dracula movie by far. The rest of the movie was kind of eh.
Yeah.
No, the rest of it was not good. Yeah, Renfield was the
Yeah.
name of it.
Yeah,
it
there
was
we go.
Not a good movie. I watched it, and
But it was worth watching. It was worth watching just for Nick Cage, though.
It was endurable because of Nick Cage. To say it was worth watching, I think maybe a stretch.
I mean, I
we
didn't
have
have a
this
lot to
coming
do
up.
that.
Nope. What
What?
happened?
Oh, I just said I had I didn't have a lot to do that day, so it wasn't really a waste.
Oh
of
no,
my
that
time.
happens to all of us. That's how I watch a lot of movies. That Mr. The Empire says, "Why are you watching this? Why do you hate your family? Do you want to live by yourself?" So that's how these things happen. So Alex Garland is going to be doing Elden Ring, and so our good friend Copa has been talking about this. How they've made a shift from superhero movies over to game movies. I don't give a fuck about game movies overall. I can't because I don't play the games, so it's just like, all right.
It's usually,
But I know
because
this
they
is a very
suck.
popular franchise, and Alex Garland has done movies that people have seen.
All right, here's my question: is there going to be a 10-hour boss fight? Because that's
Probably.
what happens in the game.
Well, here's my thing. When you make a video game or a video game franchise into a live action, I don't see the point, because most of the time in a video game there's so many cutscenes, it's like a movie in and of itself. So like, why make it into a movie when it like
What are you talking about? We did like 3 months on the Last of Us.
that I made the same point then.
Bad. That was
And
crap.
you weren't wrong, my friend. You were not wrong.
I made
You
the
were not
same
wrong by
point
a
then.
long
I
shot.
don't
it's a-
understand why we would make a TV series or movie series or whatever based on a video game that
If
you
it's
can.
an older video game that was like a side scroller, like
Okay.
Castlevania,
For this-
that doesn't have all the stuff in the story element that you could expand on. But like remaking Red Dead Redemption, no point.
If
That's basically a
so,
movie.
so this is what, a TV show or whatever. Okay.
Just watch a cowboy
No,
movie.
this is I think this is going to be
You
a
don't need to
movie.
make that a
If,
movie.
even if this movie is woke as hell, if it's horribly written, if they do one thing, I will watch the whole thing and buy it on Blu-ray or whatever. If they make all the dragons look like Macho Man Randy Savage.
Oh, they gotta
I
have
mean-
that. Yeah.
I accept that.
Have you guys seen Ex Machina?
Oh, I love that
Yeah.
fucking movie. Actually, I love that
Yeah,
movie.
Ex Machina is great. It's not woke. It's very thought provoking.
And,
It's very it's got some good action.
Redheaded fellow. Yeah, no, it's very solid.
And I don't know. I mean, I have not. This is one of those like games I always meant to play, but I never have enough time to like get into games to play something this long.
Well, you're birthing 27 goats. You're a very busy lady.
Yeah. It's a Souls-like game, and I don't like Souls-like games. So
Well, and that's the other thing is that I don't know that I'd have the patience for it.
Ah.
But I suspect what they're doing is that they're making this movie for people like me who are kind of interested in the game, but haven't really,
Well,
we're still sitting on the fence.
they just did the remaster, so that's all related to this whole, And for those who don't know, who've never played any Skyrim,
I've never played any of this stuff.
one of the features of them, they're all heavily
Right.
moddable. So you can
Yes.
customize these games. That's what the Macho Man reference was. They made a mod for these games where you can make all the dreams like Macho Man. Like you can
That's
you
funny.
can chain custom. I'll send you the link to it. It's a kind of funny video. I'll send you a link to one later, Roman. You could also customize all these Elder Scrolls games in to an insane degree, to the point where like it's not even a fantasy game. You could like customize to where you have football players playing football.
Mhm.
That's how far you can go with the mod.
Or like with Skyrim, instead of having dragons, you have Thomas the Tank Engine flying around.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god!
It-
So
yeah,
we
it's
don't we
pretty
don't we don't
incredible.
have a lot of info on this, but we know that he's going to be directing. So, like
what
I
are
said,
the
I like
chances? Yeah. What are the
I just-
I
chances?
can't say I like him
don't get-
overall.
out
He's
of
done good work.
all the video games out there, they picked this one that doesn't really have any dialogue in it, unless it's one of the boss battles. I mean, it's kind of weird that they'd pick this movie.
What's
It's too bad
this?
they haven't done like Halo and made it
Pick this one to make a
worthwhile
movie
to
of.
everyone who wanted to watch a good Halo project. Because Paramount, fuck off.
Well, I was
so,
just gonna
yeah.
say, what is the studio? Because
Uh,
I no longer I've stopped paying attention to who's
Oh,
directing because
A24.
Blah, 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 blah. No, it's A24. A24.
Oh,
So
that's not bad.
A24 has done a lot of good stuff.
yeah, I've stopped paying attention to the director because so many of the studios are now interfering so heavily that the directors don't really get to direct. But A24
yeah.
and that director, I mean, I'm willing to give it a shot. Like I said, I'm not. I haven't played the video game, but they've both done good work.
And
hello,
with
cannoli.
with Elden Ring specifically, I think it was Lovett that pointed out, but George R.R. Martin's the one who like helped create Elden Ring, so like.
So
Yeah,
he
why
did
he
that
was
instead
not
of
writing
finishing his
Winds of
fucking
Winter.
book.
Yes, he did that instead of writing
Right.
Winds of Winter.
He's done everything except writing Winds of Winter.
I've done a lot of things, eating hot dogs, but instead I chose to build this video game.
Yeah, well, hey George, when are you
And
finishing
jump
Winds of
naked
Winter?
on
And
the
he's like,
trampoline.
Why are you bullying me?
No, actually, he's gotten to the point where he's just like, you know what? I have no idea when it's going to be done.
If you
Like,
guys wanna see something-
hopefully, I don't die.
If you guys want something really, really funny, when Conan O'Brien had his last TV show, he would do a skit where he sends a drone in to see what Bob Martin is doing on the Winds of Winter, and he would film Martin. Just go check them out. They're hilarious.
Well, if you remember, the Rings of Time, that whole series of books,
The
Wheel
Rings
of Time.
the author
Talking
kept
about Wheel of
meandering and
Time. Talking about the
meandering, and he finally
Wheel
fucking
of
died
Time.
before he finished it. So they had to bring in
Wheel of
Brian
Time.
Sanders.
No.
Well, that was a way different thing, though. He was
Yes.
very sick.
That's Wheel of
And
Time.
he was very young.
I know, but but you never finished it. If someone else finished it, it was unfortunate. But
No. Roman, I have to interject. There's misinformation.
All right.
Well, first of all, Robert Jordan was very young when he died, and the thing was fairly onset. Second, he worked to almost his death writing down endings, outlines, worked with Brandon.
That series was too fucking long, though. It ended up being like
Um,
fucking books that were
It's
this
15 books.
thick.
It's 15 books. It's one of those, like, if you really like, okay, I'll give you this one. If you like Lord of the Rings and only read Lord of the Rings and don't read History of Middle Earth, Wheel of Time might be long for you, right? It like there's a tremendous amount of lore and material in the 15 books you wrote for it. I get that not everyone wants to read that much about something, but it's a great book
It's a
series.
lot, man. It's a lot.
Brandon Sanderson does kind of let you down with the last 3 books. He's not as good a writer. as
They were
Jordan was.
terrible. They were terrible. I
I
was
won't
so
say
angry.
they're terrible
They were
because
terrible. I will say they're terrible.
I mean, I've read terrible, and I mean, they were okay written.
They
but-
should,
I
you
read
should
stuff
have
for
wrapped
fun.
it earlier.
I've read things that should never have been published.
Well, there's that, but
I've
they were
written things that
terrible.
could never have been published, but
They were
What are you
they were
gonna do?
terrible. They were terrible because he wrote the first of the 2 books, and there was some feedback that people were not crazy about how he'd done one of the characters. And his response was to say, "Then screw it." And in the last book, he writes out almost every major character and just has brand new characters that we've never met before. So at the end of a
I never finished it. I
at the
gave up.
end of
I did give
at
up.
the end of a 15-book series, all of a sudden we have totally different characters.
And
So,
remember, books that are
again,
fucking at
valid
least
complaint.
fucking 1,000 pages. They're huge.
That valid complaint, but had Jordan lived, he would not have finished in just 3 books. There were a lot left on the table that he cut out just to get some sort of ending.
But
It
the
shouldn't-
final
it should
the
have
final
been a
battle that
shorter
we were waiting
series.
for with Rand would have happened to start with. Tom would not have been relegated to one scene where he's sitting outside a cave.
Oh yeah,
Like-
there would have been a ton of stuff, like a whole
Jack
bunch.
would have tried to get on the door one more time.
We're deep diving into this, obviously, but
I have very strong feelings about this. I wouldn't read Sanderson for like 15 years because I was so angry about it.
I don't like Brandon Sanderson's writing style at all. I don't read any of his stuff, but except for the Wheel of Time conclusion, And to Roman, I get that it's a long read to you. Some people don't like that. I mean, Stephen R. Donaldson, another guy you probably would not want to read. In terms of length.
His stuff is also great.
It's very dense.
I like a series, but the problem is if it goes 15 books that are 1,000-page deep. This is 15,000 pages of reading. That's an awful lot for
but Jordan
most humans to endure.
Jordan, not that it's written. Jordan's work reads very fast.
I was going to say, I hate to tell you, Roman, but I can read through one of his books in 2 days.
Yeah.
I can't do it. I can't. I will. I just.
Yeah, I have
to do other. I have to do this. I have to go write music. I have to go do other things. So reading is a part of my day, but it's not like hours of my day. I just can't.
I'm also not going to start a long series if I know that like the guy died and someone screwed it up at the end.
No.
There's my man. There's my man. The Boosh. The Boosh is
there
in
parts
the room.
Of the ending.
No. Boosh is right. So I can't even re-engage with this series now because I will be dead before I can finish it. And so it's like, what am I going to do?
Richard Zeleny was worse. I was so mad when he died too.
Oh God, yeah, that's Chronicles.
Oh wait, what's going on, Whitey?
No, you can read the first Chronicles of Amber, and
I have to talk.
Think of that as the end. You know what I mean?
So. I don't know what that means.
I think he's having a stroke.
Are you okay? Do we need to send an ambulance, Whitey? If you need us to, we can, my friend. I'm just
there's a lot of medical stuff going on our channel. You would not be a new guy.
That's true.
Yeah, you'll be the first nor the last.
All right, we're going to jump on to topic number 3 now.
You're right there, Mando.
And this one doesn't need to last long. I'm just trying to. So please stop blasting me.
And I'm wearing shorts.
No, go to black. Okay, there we go. So Jessica Jones, I love Jessica Jones in the Netflix series. I don't know if everyone else did, but I absolutely thought that's my favorite of those series. Aside
it was
from
all right until season 3.
You know what my biggest problem with the show was? It's a funny one. She never looked like she took a bath or changed her clothes.
That's true.
I couldn't stand it.
That's true.
She would wake up in the same clothes she went to sleep in, never change them, never took a bath. I just couldn't stand. I liked the show overall, but I couldn't stand like that.
That was one of her superpowers.
Man, what is going on with her?
Go to the bathroom? What?
But Daredevil Born Again is bringing back, I think, most of the Defenders.
See her go to the bathroom.
Which I'm looking forward to, frankly. I liked Luke Cage a lot. I very much enjoyed the Luke Cage series. Jessica Jones, I fucking loved. I fucking hated Iron Fist.
Yeah,
I didn't mind Iron Fist.
No, I don't. I like the character Iron Fist. I just don't like the guy playing Iron Fist.
No.
Yeah, I didn't like I thought he was a poor casting decision, but like I didn't mind the show.
I don't blame the actor because he got hosed in a way for that, but they've ruined the lore of the Iron Fist with that show. Okay,
really?
Those other characters that
love
showed
season
up.
1. Oh, yes.
Like Bride of Night Spiders, Dog Souls #1, and all. Those are the other living weapons, and they're equal to the Iron Fist in a certain way. And they got, again, use my word from before, douche nozzled out of any good content, basically. They made a joke out of them. There's a whole set of lore that goes with that place where he's from.
Whoa! Eraserhead, what? Are we talking about Jessica?
We're talking Iron Fist. Iron Fist.
Yes,
okay, no. If we're talking Iron Fist, I can. Here's the thing, and I don't give a fuck about Iron Fist even as a character. I don't care. I've never liked Iron Fist as a comic book character, or even worse as an on-screen character. That was just like disastrous. I know they're doing what they do, but by God. Give us something to hope for. So anyway, like I said, this is going to be a quick segment. I just want to say I was happy Jessica Jones was back.
Yeah, but do you think it's gonna be as good as her first appearance?
Oh, as in
season 1, or is it going to be?
Here's the thing. I don't know. I have to say I don't know because the first season of Daredevil Born Again was very uneven because they had a shit writing team, and then they brought in a good writing team, and then the good writing team had to try to piecemeal it all together to salvage the season. Some of the episodes were very good. A lot of them were
okay. So
not.
you're saying that if they got this new all-star writing team working
It
on
could be
season
good.
2, it could
It
be good.
could be good.
And they fired
Yep.
all the DEI idiot
Yes.
writers and stuff. Okay.
It could be good. I hope it's good. Please let it be good. Don't disappoint me again. I'm always right on the edge of suicide here in the studio of the Empire. Marvel, I just want you to know that.
Hey,
If it
you
happens, it will
expect
be on
everything to
screen
suck,
and your
you'll-
fault.
You'll never be disappointed.
So, like I said, quick one on that. I just wanted to stop in and mention that. Next one. Oh, this is going to be a fun one. It's a list. I love lists, and I haven't read it fully because I like to keep it live for the purpose of the show. But fuck my life, Bounding with Comics is beating me with this burning white light over here. It's fine. They all can't be dark mode.
I
8
thought Bounding
best
in the
video
comics allowed
games.
dark mode.
If they do, I haven't found it. I also don't sub, so maybe they do. So 8 best video games based on TV shows ranked. This should be fun, though. Walking Dead. I'm going to talk about this one briefly because it has a special place in my heart. One of my best friends growing up, his name is Mark Darren, was one of the designers on this game. It won many awards. And when we were in high school together, we had a band called the Plastic Toys. And he actually incorporated that into a couple scenes of this game. The character Roman, if you've ever played the game, that's me. He's wearing a Plastic Toys leather jacket with the signature of our band on the back. So, yeah, it's kind of cool.
Okay, that's
I think it's
pretty
it's
awesome.
unfair to say that this is a video game based on a television show, though, because it's based on the comic book.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. None of the TV characters are in this. That's true.
Okay, if Frasier on Game Boy and Niles in the City is not on here, I'm going to
Dalek Attack, 1992. That's
Never
a
heard
funny
of it.
name.
How many of all those who have
So-
played the game?
Released in 92, Dalek remains one of the best. Blah 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 blah.
Okay, well, I'm checking that out.
7 doctors and take on the Daleks and other enemies. This is interesting. This looks like what was the game where the guy's swinging over the pits? Pitfall.
Pitfall, Harry.
Pitfall.
Yeah.
Except
This,
with Doctor Who.
This is back when they could crank out a game in 4 months.
Well, this is basically, those who don't understand
Yeah.
why these can look like, there were game kits that were put out that anyone could write a game on top of it, basically.
Yes.
You'd have to do graphics in for your characters, and then program some scripting and whatever, like what they want them to say, and then set obstacles for them to walk as we were making games like terrorists invading our high schools and sorts of stuff like that, and
The early steps of modding.
yeah. Well, there were game kits, literally, but they were so easy to use that they were basically, that's how they spammed out all those arcade games that were identical, but just had a different gorilla or something in them.
Yeah.
Like Crazy Ape versus Giant Ape versus, it's like.
South Park, The Stick of Truth.
I remember
Oh
that.
my God.
Oh,
I don't
Stick of
remember
Truth
this
was
game.
incredible.
2014. So,
Stick of Truth is amazing.
oh my
That
God.
game is that old already? Holy crap.
I know.
That looks terrifying.
It still holds up.
Wow. I didn't know. So I don't play video games, so I thought this is going to be interesting. The naked man with the leather is a little scary for
Mr.
me.
Slave?
But to be fair, that's pretty much all the time. Star Trek Prodigy Supernova 2022.
They don't have
Anyone know this?
Nah, never heard of it.
I've heard of it, didn't play it. I heard it was
That's
recent.
obviously Catherine Janeway.
Is that based
No,
on
I-
Voyager?
Yes.
It's got to be because I don't know anything about it. Well, here's
Sort
another
of.
Voyager.
It's this
Elite
weird,
Force.
that one is Prodigy is like this weird ship goes and gets lost. It can go faster than warp, transwarp, or whatever, and can get back in the Delta Quadrant. Gets lost. A whole bunch of kids from that area find it. It's basically kind of like a somehow these kids can still work this ship, and they're finding their way home.
Oh, dear
to
God.
Starfleet, led by the hologram of Catherine Janeway.
Oh, so
Or
she's
something.
like a hollow advisor, kind of.
Yeah,
That sounds
It's-
absolutely horrible.
It sounds like that Star
Um,
Wars kids show that just came out, Skeleton Crew.
kind
Oh,
of.
that was fucking terrible. I hated
I'm
that show.
surprised.
I could not get through the first episode of that show. I hated it so much.
I'm surprised
Um,
that they don't have the other Simpsons game on here. The one that's like
Oh,
Grand
Lord.
Theft Auto. Where you run.
So
forward and
again,
over.
thank you to everyone who is hanging out with us over on YouTube and on Twitter X for you young people tonight. Nice crowd tonight. We have a lot of folks here. Really good, great to have you with us. Know nothing about this. I was hoping these choices were going to be better, so you're going to have to. So I apologize. Voyager Elite Force 2000. Many of you may not have
I
been.
played that. I played that. That was okay.
It was okay.
I've actually heard
Problem
it's
is,
pretty good. I've
the
never
problem
played
is
it
it's
myself.
based on Star Trek Voyager, which sucks.
Voyager was not great.
Yeah, if we're based
Yeah.
You can't have an 8-game list and have 5 of them be Star Trek games.
But
Oh, if you're the
did
author
anyone
of
else
this
play the?
list.
Yeah,
other
because the next
Simpsons
one
games?
is also a Star Trek game.
This
I was
one's
gonna say,
VR.
Star Trek Bridge Crew.
This one's
I'm
VR.
guessing I'm guessing whoever wrote this just really likes Star Trek.
Yeah, this
But
one's
the-
VR, and I watched people play it, and it was kind of funny to watch them play. But I don't think the game had any legs, because once you played it like a few times, it was all the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about like the Simpsons arcade game?
What? Also, the Simpsons.
What about Buffy the Vampire Slayer?
Looks like it's
What
from
was the
the
Simpsons game?
J.J. Abrams.
It looks like a
Star
PS2
Trek.
game.
I did
It's
play it.
in 2002.
It
When was that show on?
So
90s.
late
early
1990s. So
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
that
it's
probably
that
still
show ran a
on
long
during-
time.
yeah.
7 seasons.
What, hey, Matt? What game were you saying you were playing?
There's a Simpsons game that was like Grand Theft Auto. You drive around in a Simpsons car with the Simpsons hitting people and stuff.
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah.
That's
Scroll down one more.
yeah.
Death Race Simpsons.
No, it's
And
this
then
one.
here
Hit
it
and
is.
run.
The
Simpsons
Simpsons
Hit and
Hit and Run.
Yeah.
Yep.
I
This
beat
is-
that.
Yeah, but like you don't have like
Wow.
Turtles in Time. You don't have.
This is
Well,
a
the Turtles are a comic book though. That's why they wouldn't have it.
Yeah, but it was still based off that one was based off the TV show.
utilizing a GTA style open world. Simpsons Hit and Run extends Springfield to a colorful fashion. It fits perfectly into the show. Blah 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 blah. So you can basically just fucking kill people at your will in this game.
Now
Is that what I'm
you
getting?
Yes,
can just play GTA 5 and mod Homer and Marge into it.
pretty much.
No, literally, and
No, you can.
do the same thing. Yeah,
Wow,
They have mods where you can just be the Hulk and run around.
right. There was
that is
a
weird and exciting at the same time.
there was a Star Trek
I'm there for
MMO that came out like in the late 2010s.
Whoa!
What?
Did you kidnap a dog?
No, I'm dog sitting, and he refuses to stop trying to jump and sit on my lap, and so I figured this was the next best thing.
Hello, dog.
His name is Roscoe.
Hi,
Oh,
Roscoe.
I think Roscoe has been on the show
Good
before,
name for
if I'm not mistaken.
I
Roscoe
think
has
he
been with
has.
us in the past.
Is
Where's
named
think he
Boss
was
after
on
Hogg
the-
at?
I think he was on the show the last time I was on the show.
He's a good boy.
Is he named after the legendary Roscoe P. Coltrane?
I don't believe
Yes.
so, but yeah,
It's
he.
more fun for us if he has, though.
Well, let's test him.
Um,
Get those dukes, boy. Get those dukes. Get him.
Oh, he heard you. He's like,
I mean, if he just lays there and sleeps, he's definitely named after the.
oh no, he is an active pupper. Like he can't sit still. But yes.
Where's Boss Hogg at? Do you have a cat named Boss Hogg or?
No, I don't.
I don't know how to respond to this. That's
I
weird.
wanna
We don't
check
usually have
him.
animals on the show, folks. This is new. All
Hey!
right, so
Hey,
Yeah,
No,
what
they
is
weren't
aside
talking
from the
to you,
goat.
buddy.
this shit?
Um,
Talking
so
to
insensitive.
you.
I know.
I'm an insensitive man. So here's something that I'm both irritated and excited about at the same time. So you'll understand my confusion when I bring this up. They're going to bring Punisher into Spider-Man 4.
I mean, that's not that far fetched because Punisher was in the '90s TV show.
Agreed. So
he was introduced in Spider-Man comics.
Okay, yes, that'd be correct. About the good
so we're gonna have Savage Hulk, not Bruce Banner. Fucking, I'm a waiter Hulk. We're gonna have Savage Hulk and Punisher in the same movie. That gets me excited. It does.
Are they doing?
I love John Berthnall's Punisher.
They already did Planet Hulk in Thor 3.
Yeah, they kind of already did that in Ragnarok.
They did it in like 20 minutes.
Actually, do that because Universal still owns the right to the Hulk's movie. They can't make a singular Hulk movie.
Have you ever seen the animated feature World War Hulk?
Yes.
It's far better than all of Ragnarok.
Except,
I also heard that the Scorpion might be in this.
Well, this movie is going to suck because of the title. So there you go.
And they're probably going to introduce Miles Morales, and then that'll be the end of the franchise.
Oh, fuck my life. Then they should just call it, it's Miles Morales, not Spider-Man. As we all know.
Does he have that stupid new skull symbol? The dumb one with the horns on it?
No, not in any of the features yet.
Okay.
The comic book had it for a while. They got rid of it.
Fuck that thing.
The regular Punisher thing now. Because Marvel Comics went way woke and way stupid.
Yeah, they were like, take away his guns,
still
give him
dealing with
swords
a lot of
and
the results of that.
Yeah, like the idea that like him killing people with swords is somehow better. I've never understood that logic.
Yeah,
like,
me either.
If you kill someone in a slower, if you kill someone in a slower, more painful way, that is somehow better.
I just feel like getting stabbed is so much more personal. Maybe that's the American me talking, but across the pond they're like, "Oh, you and your guns," and I was like, "Yeah, how's knife crime going?"
Dude,
you guys are just as violent as we are. They're outlawing kitchen knives in the UK.
Okay, this is controversial, but if you look at the percentage of guns that are in America, right, the just overall raw number with the populace number about how many guns each person owns, the gun violence is actually a lot less than you would expect.
Oh, 100%.
Furthermore, they inflate gun violence statistics with
they do
self-terminations being counted as and if you take out self-terminations, the number drops like a rock.
Well, it was that bullshit they pulled the other day where they were like, well, more children die of gun-related incidents, and then it was like by children, it was like they put in 19 or people like above 18 as well, and it was like then you're bringing up people who can legally own guns now. That's not children.
Well, because that's not a gun thing. That's a general statistics thing. When it's something we're in favor of, we like change the age of where we consider people to be children based on what on the point we're trying to make.
It should be exactly where the age to vote is.
It was just like my parents would. They would, if they wanted you to do something and take responsibility, they'd be like, "You're 15, you need to know what they're doing." But if they didn't want you to do it, they'd be like, "You're a 14-year-old, you can't do this." And it's like, what is it? Am I 15 or 14? You know what I mean? So
the Roman of the Empire expression of this is everyone is stupid until they're 25. Agreed. 25 is a good crossover age. You're fully developed brain-wise. But as soon as you can join the military, which is the age 18, which is when Shieldwall, myself, and many other people joined up, that is the age at which you become an adult because you can now kill people.
But you can't smoke cigarettes.
There's a more foundation.
Not in most states.
Or drink alcohol.
That's true. And that's stupid. All are one. That's the way I think of it.
I agree.
I think our country has it so fucking wrong. All or,
Well, I think one of the reasons I've always had a theory that one of the reasons we have so many like developmental issues is that for most of history, there was a specific point where you were an adult, either like, you killed your first animal or, whatever it was. There was like literally one day you were a kid, the next day you were an adult, and you had all the adult responsibilities. Nowadays, you can vote at 18, but you can't drink until 21, and you're on your parents' insurance until you're 26.
Right.
And they keep trying to like up the age at which you are considered psychologically mature, which is crap. Because they say, well, your brain's not fully developed. Your brain is never fully developed. Your brain constantly changes throughout the course of your life. And the other thing is that it changes according to what you put it through. So when kids were expected to be adults at 18, they matured at 18 specifically because they were expected to. And so they did all the things they were supposed to do. There was actually a study that showed that blue-collar kids mature faster than college students because they are expected to go to work and have responsibilities.
Well, if you look at the biology of humanity, child death rates have dropped like a rock over the last, let's say, 200 years. I'm not being exact, roughly 200 years. And we're now, as a society, dealing with the fact that a much higher percentage of our children are growing into adulthood, including the dumb ones. I mean, you got to understand. I mean, I don't want any human children to be killed. We should protect our children, right? But if you have 3 kids and one of them is dumb enough to run up and hug the leopard, that's the one that's going to go. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I hate to say it that way, but
I don't know how Zach's got that out of what I said.
Go back and
no one ever knows his accent.
Look at like the
some of Zach's quotes are the best.
The accounts there are a lot of accounts of this stuff. How human kids kept getting killed off by predators, by other people, and all that sort of stuff. If you're curious about, and we've stopped all of that. We've stopped them. We've stopped being killed by predators. We've stopped being killed by predatory people for the most part. And now we have this glut of children that we have to come up with a solution for. And unfortunately, the left-wing solution is to make them dumb and irresponsible and hopeless. And we're seeing the ramifications of that.
Well, it's because we don't want them competing on the job market.
The job market
that's
is
a
a
Punisher
nightmare.
and Spider-Man.
Most of you probably have not had to deal with the job market in a while. But if you're a young man trying to get in the job market, the prospects are not good. They are shit.
Unless you're going to be a plumber, welder, electrician.
But
unless you're going into a technical field.
Unless you're going into a technical field.
Whatever job, the companies don't call you back.
They want you to. They say that it's an entry level position, but they want you to have like 5 years experience. It's an entry level position. I need to get experience here.
Well, that's because these kids are not socialized properly in high school. I'm here. You want a good. I've been watching a lot of these cop security camera, like their badge cam videos, and I see so many like they call it entitled teens, people from 15 to 20 who have no ability to relate to other humans, like at an airport where they get kicked off the flight. And they pull a tantrum and kick and scream, and the cops have to fully body bag them to get them out of the airport.
Throw them off the plane, yes. Tase them and get them off the plane. But with the job market, so I have a daughter who is in New York, and she was applying for she has a job now, but before she got that, she was applying and applying and applying. And the thing is, it's like positions like hostess, which, and I don't want this to sound improper, but it's going to, any monkey can do, wanted 3 to 5 years of experience. You're a hostess. You don't need that. That is a learn-on job. You put them at the table. It's not very hard. I've worked in the business. I know how hard that job is.
Roman, I want to say this.
Yeah.
So,
Matt,
I don't know how it is on the West Coast, but in the Italian community on the East Coast, hostess is a very valuable. Like my cousin was a hostess. She at one point, literally all the mob guys were having her organize their parties because she was great on the food. She knew all the people to invite. Like there's a skill set to that. She was pulling in.
I think Roman is
5
talking
years
about
is fucking retarded.
She leads you to your seat at the restaurant, not
Well, that's a wait. That's a
Overall,
waitress.
that job
Yeah.
isn't
Yeah.
fucking hard, Matt.
Yeah.
If
That's
you
a
need a place
waitress.
that has to have that kind of position and have that, fine. Most places don't. Most places,
Like
a monkey can go in and learn that fucking job.
But that Roman,
Like,
that's a
he's
not a
waitress.
hard
referring to like an Applebee's
But-
waitress. Like a lot of people, a lot
But
of restaurants use hostess and waitress.
Specialized
interchangeably.
hostess, I get. I understand that. Most places are not specialized hostess, though. They're just, I need someone to put people over here. People
Those
over
are
here.
waitresses, Roman.
Don't fuck up the tables. No, that's a hostess. The waitresses are the servers. Hostess puts you at your table and makes you laugh while you're waiting. So,
And tells you how long the wait's going to be.
which is usually too long.
And they hand out that little buzzer thing when your table's ready.
That's also.
But
the
I know
hostess.
what Matt's talking about. Matt is talking about a proper hostess that, like,
That's
Yeah,
high end.
we don't.
Yeah.
We don't. Roman, we don't. What you call a hostess, we don't call her out here on the East Coast. We have it's a concierge, there's different titles for it.
So, for the
D.
record, I live on the East Coast, and what he's calling a hostess is exactly what we call a hostess. They do the same thing.
I've never heard an Italian restaurant anyone call the hostess and do.
Well, it may be an Italian thing then, but
Well,
it is
that's
definitely.
That's the only important thing there is.
So here we have another Fantastic Four story, which I thought was interesting. They are changing. They're doing reshoots. The movie's coming out on July 25th, and they're doing reshoots. That's a little bit tight. This story came out on the 16th of May that they were doing reshoots on
I
the.
suspect.
One of the things I
suspect-
read that irritated the fuck out of me though was this little bit here. Was that there's a female silver surfer. They don't understand her backstory, and so that's gonna be an audience problem. No, the problem is you didn't bring in the proper silver surfer, the one that everyone knows. Yes, there was a silver surfer in the comics. We all know that. But it was a very limited period. So don't pick that like it's the fucking cherry on the goddamn pie and say, oh, yeah, it was in the comics. It was in the comics with quotes around it, and it's this fucking
The
big.
Shieldwall character was in there for like a special issue for two panels.
It was an alternate
wasn't-
universe.
Stop
Yeah, and it was
Shieldwall
an
was
alternate universe.
with your bullshit.
What's even worse though is that there are actual female heralds of Galactus who have good. One of which has a great storyline that they could have used. Frankie Ray, people.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh, John Malone.
Well,
Hello.
but see, we already know that they're going to be moved to the regular universe. So my assumption is
yes.
that the female Silver Surfer is intentionally a one-off, and that they're going to end up leaving their universe with that Silver Surfer and move into the regular universe with the regular Silver Surfer.
That's my understanding as well.
That's possible.
Because we already know that they're changing universes somehow. Like, because they've already given away the fact that the Fantastic Four survive and end up in the regular. What is it, 616?
I mean, if they want to have a 616, but the movie verse is not 616. The movie verse is like 2945 something or other. If another female herald of Galactus had a great fight, her name is Stardust. She had a great fight with Beta Ray Bill where they were biased on each other's planets. I mean, like they ignore actual cool storylines for this woke crap and make it worse. I have a feeling that the original Roger Corman Fantastic Four will remain the best Fantastic Four film again.
Yep.
Yeah, they seem to really struggle with Fantastic Four movies for some very weird reason.
Because they don't like families.
And yet the entire preview is based around family. Like, it sounded like a Fast and the Furious preview.
I mean, the film looks, appearance-wise, to be pretty solid. It's just they're gonna ruin it with this woke crap.
It is kind of visually interesting. Like the weird
Yeah,
combination
it's
of technology and visual 60s visual aesthetic.
But I have also heard,
Although the poster is terrible.
The poster's terrible. Yeah, no.
It was like
Yes.
the one in the stink at the end is Looks pretty gnarly.
Oh, the one with the Fantastic Four hand, but each one is like
Yeah.
rock and fire and
And the thing is the
Yeah.
one in the snake.
yeah.
Yeah, I
yeah,
sincerely hope that they fired whoever made that poster.
that was terrible. And
I did
Did
hear
y'all
that this
see
is
what
the last
Copa said
of,
about that?
Who?
that he's
Copa.
I think it was on his Twitter feed. I can't remember exactly what he said, but it was pretty funny.
I think this is the last film that was done by all the woke writers that he's supposedly fired. So we'll have to see.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I
don't believe that.
I might have given it a shot just because, again, it's visually interesting. I probably would have hated the movie, but I tend to like the tech stuff as much as I do the movies themselves. So I might have watched it for the visuals, except that I'm so sick of Pedro.
Well, no, the woke purge was real. That's what happened with Daredevil. That's literally when it happened, when Daredevil was going to be ultra woke. So he was like, no more, no mas, and fired all the woke writers. It was a massive purge.
Yeah, I've said this before, that we got to cycle through all the stuff that was made between 2018 and 2024, basically. And, sometimes they'll make something and sit on it for a few years before they release it.
Yeah.
And so
like Ironheart.
So we're seeing a lot of that stuff where every once in a while a movie will come out or a show or a video game, and we'll be like, what in the world? And then new stuff will start coming out, and it'll start slowly, air quotes, transitioning into better writing, better, more judicious use of money. Because I think a bunch of that ESG money or USAID money they were getting is all drying up. So they're going to have to be a little more, careful about how they spend their money and what they do with it.
I mean, they can't spend $400 million on a movie that's like not even going to break even.
We hope that's what they do.
Well,
we hope that's what they do.
It seems like that's the direction that's going in, because there are a lot of video game companies that are laying off mass loads of people. There's a Black Panther game that was in development that's totally shut down. They just closed the studio that was involved with it and like dumped the project. And it was like a Bethesda game, I think. So they had a lot of money in it. But that tells you just how bad it's probably going to be.
One in the stink, baby.
Every level. This is terrible. And everyone with a sense of humor understands how bad this is.
Yeah.
Copa posted this.
Jana
this is
Banana,
what happens when
hello.
you finger Miley Cyrus.
Well, that's what Copa said. That's right. That's what Copa said.
And I said this is what it looks like after you've been to a Thailand ladyboy brothel.
I mean, horrible imagery aside, I think trying to get the coloration of the 1960s comic books.
Right. But why that? I mean, what they should have done was had four hands, like a stretch hand, an invisible hand on top, like a fire hand and a rock hand.
Yeah.
You know how you do the like baseball thing and everyone all in. They should have done that. And something like that would have been better.
That's terrible. And there's no way that joke wasn't going to happen.
Exactly. I don't know. Maybe that's the whole point of that poster is they knew it would start that.
I want to know. I want to know who's making these. I want to know who's making these, because when they were doing the Acolyte, remember there was that poster that everybody immediately started making.
The shit poster.
Well, for all we know, AI made that poster.
Yeah.
So.
But either way, why all of a sudden are these weird, like really badly thought out posters getting released?
Because they're hiring people straight out of college that supposedly have production design degrees and all this art design and stuff, and they learned about was CRT and how bad everything is, and
they didn't actually
learn their abstract art.
Yeah,
but people straight out of
my audio died.
Okay, Matt. All right.
People straight out of college ought to be able to look at that Acolyte poster and go, "Oh, everybody's going to make period jokes about this."
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I have no artistic eye whatsoever, and even I could look at that. Even I could look at that and go,
Yeah, but I don't know. Some people these days, I just have no confidence. And it used to be a college degree was something that was you could accolade, and it was important now.
Well, a college degree means almost nothing.
Yeah,
now,
it's
though,
a
is the
giant
problem.
waste of money unless you're going to be like an astrophysicist or something.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
So-
the concept of sending someone to college to learn to be creative is hysterical to start with.
Yeah, no, that's something you need going in.
No. So here we have, this is the new thing coming out on HBO, which can be good, can be bad. It's a roll of the dice. Welcome to Derry, which is the town in Maine that it takes place in. So this sequel takes place.
It's Bangor.
Let me bring up the thing here. It's 1962. Before all the kids have, been around. And I haven't watched it yet. I wanted to do it here and see what it looks like. Hopefully YouTube doesn't fucking flag me and kick me in the fucking penis.
That's the YouTube trailer. Find it on Twitter.
Oh, is it okay if it's on Twitter?
Yeah, for some reason on Twitter it won't flag you as quick.
Okay. It won't let YouTube algorithm scan Twitter.
Welcome to Derry.
And just to throw this out there and make a point, I am not a fan of the It movies, any of them. I did not enjoy it. None of them. I was
Did you read the book?
Pass. No, I didn't read the book, and I know the book is
I
better.
see.
But for the movie, I'm speaking strictly for the movies.
The book is.
I
better
watched
in
both
some
of
parts.
the ones that came out and was like, no, these are not good. I didn't. Or
I like.
Well,
I won't say they weren't good. I didn't like them.
Oh, nice.
Both-
Okay, I've got it.
Both likes part 1 and part 2, or both like the more recent one on Tim Curry?
I like Tim Curry.
Yeah,
like
I
the
know there
original
wasn't
version.
an OG It movie.
Yeah,
Way
Tim
back.
Tim Curry
Yeah.
Curry plays the clown, and it's Tim Curry. So
I have
Yeah.
not seen
There
that.
was
or I've
only one
seen
bad
just
thing in
that.
that entire original production.
yeah, I have mixed
You
feelings
gonna put the
about.
sound on or?
Roman has some trouble making sound play when he shares stuff.
I have mixed feelings about this show.
Now, for those who don't understand the context, mild spoilers from the book. Pennywise set up the town of Derry to be its sort of like hunting ground hundreds of years earlier. Okay?
Yes.
So that's kind of the premise
And
of what.
he's been responsible for tragedies
Yeah.
like since the town's inception.
Like he goes back to sleep and then wakes up and does whatever.
He's
Yeah.
like a bear.
Yeah,
He's like a
but-
bear. He gets up. He hibernates. He gets up. He eats. He goes back to bed. He hibernates.
Well, and I mean, it's plausible that it takes place in King's story because even though you've seen, the only way that you saw that it was like part of the town was they have these historical events where it always ended in some tragedy. And you could also see that the town kind of floods at the end of the book. You could be
Floods?
willing. You could be willing to discern that the people in the town were also being tortured by this creature before it ended with like the big finality tragedy. Like,
Well,
so
It actually says that there were events beforehand. So
Yeah.
this makes
it
perfect.
says that there was events beforehand, but you could assume that like the kids were being tortured.
So basically,
Stuff that wasn't in the history books.
so I will spoil a whole bunch of Stephen King right here for you guys. The way this is set up is it's a cosmological being that lost a battle in the ancient times. Okay, it used to be it was kind of the counterbalance to Mature and the Turtle, keeping it simple for religious purposes. It got hit with a cosmic whammy and started dying. It crashed on Earth in this particular universe, and it consumes sort of the psychic energy of people when they're in despair. Okay, and
Yeah,
it needs anyone in despair, it consumes their energy, but it gets the biggest kick out of these kids, like the biggest, and that allows it to go back in hibernation for another however many years to the next batch of kids that's to consume. But it's consuming.
He can take anyone's essence, but he says it adds flavor when
Kids are yummy.
They're in despair.
Yeah. And
Monsters
Stephen King,
Inc. theory.
Stephen King New England is a Lovecraftian horror show.
Feel is good.
But the issue is that if you're worried about lore, the kids in the original book do a lot of research and they look at, these different cases
Yes,
that have happened
I
throughout the
remember.
years.
Yep.
So the having the television series itself makes sense. What I have an issue with is it's going to get boring really quick, because what we already know happens, if you're sticking to the lore, is
Yes.
Pennywise shows up, terrorizes kid dies. Pennywise shows up, terrorizes kid dies.
Well,
Either that, or they
yeah,
just
but-
deviate. Either that, or they deviate completely, and
That girl is wearing my glasses. Those are.
They should
It's
make
gonna
it like
depend, I
Creep
guess.
Show,
if they tie it into
or
more,
they should make it like
in
an
the universe.
anthology, where
They
it's
are.
a different story for each kid, and not
They
have
are.
That
any-
would be better. Yeah. If
that's what they're
gonna
doing.
do.
That's what they're doing. They're going back in time. It starts out in the
no,
60s.
but I'm saying instead of having like continuity, have each episode be a different kid, and then
Yes, they are.
Pennywise kills them at the end.
Yeah, they are.
Don't-
They're starting in the 60s, and then they're going back 26 years, and then they're going back, and then they're going back, and then they're going back.
Oh, then that's fine. I you know, because you would have to understand that Pennywise doesn't reach his end until like
Yeah,
the end of the
if
book
we're
or
just
the end of
dealing
the
with
movie.
these four kids, then I think
mean,
it's going to be a rough sell, because basically it's it again.
I mean, unless they have changed it since the original announcement that they were talking about. It was supposed to be an anthology, and it was going to be different kids going
I
backwards
don't
over
know.
time.
To me, this doesn't look like an anthology. This looks like a specific time period of kids. Although those kids don't look like the other kids.
This looks like Stranger Things 2.0 to me.
Why does it say go back to where it all began? It definitely did not begin in the 60s.
Yeah, no, it began in like the beginning.
No, it was
of time.
way before.
By the way, we already saw the blood come out of the drain. We're good.
Yeah, exactly. We've been there.
Unless he goes like, I always love this one. This is one of my favorite ways to scare children.
You know what I love? I love shooting blood up through a pipe. Children find that fascinating. I don't know why, but I find it incredible that they find it fascinating. So here we are.
Well, yeah, and that's the other thing, is that like children tend to have the same types of fears. So what the heck? Like, I don't know. It just feels like it's going to get really old really fast.
So so mother with a crowbar, that's a fear? I'm sorry, that's funny to me. No, look at that though.
If you're in an Italian household,
Didn't they kind of gloss over Beverly's relationship with her father in the original movies?
They did.
Yes, they certainly did.
Yeah, so they may have
glossed over her relationship with every fucking other member of their weird little tribe, which was
Yeah,
good.
Yeah, they glossed.
And
they
because
glossed
that was
over-
a
yeah,
very
that was good.
inappropriate thing that he wrote.
Okay,
This is where
so
Stephen King was very wrong.
It was weird. So in the book, it's kind of implied in the first like made for TV miniseries. It's glossed over completely, and then in the new movies, it's completely overboard.
well,
Where like it's hypersexualized. Where
I would-
before he's kind of just a creep. You're more worried that he's gonna get drunk and beat the shit out of her more than anything. It's a reputation thing. It was like there might have been some sexual abuse there.
Well,
Not
in
really.
the book, the implication is that he doesn't actually assault her, but he thinks about it, but he does hit her a lot.
Yes. Well, and also, like, he says something, I don't want to get into it, where he's like, I'll know if you've been sleeping with those boys.
Yeah. The
Assuming
implication
he
is
has-
yeah.
He has no problem with checking, that, which is already creepy. But, like, in the new
Yes.
movie, they make him, like, real creepy.
Well, and her mother at one point like makes a comment about like, did your father ever touch you? And she's like, what? Like, she's like, never mind.
Yeah.
Like, I don't really want to know.
Again, interesting coming out. I thought it looked like it could be okay. Maybe interesting in some way.
I'll give it a shot.
I will watch that. There's no way I'm not going to watch that series.
Not big on that.
This
kind of
is
stuff.
so this weekend. So Memorial Day weekend. Yes, Boosh. Anyway, next topic. Are movies making a comeback? So this weekend we had quite a box office. We had one of the biggest box offices we've had in a long time. between Mission Impossible, and Lilo and Stitch, which I don't understand in the least. We had
people taking their kids on a
that
vacation
number
weekend.
is actually pretty small right now. But remember, Memorial Day weekend has always been the opening of summer weekend for the movie theaters.
Mm-hmm.
So it's traditionally been a big weekend. This has been the biggest they've had since the lockdowns. So
Well,
it's
the thing
kind of
is,
a breakthrough.
they were very careful to hide how they were going to end Lilo and Stitch. Lots of people watched it.
I've heard it's not good.
Almost everyone hated how they ended it.
Mhm.
You know, they thought they were taking their kids to a Memorial Day weekend. You know, the kids are home
Nope.
from school,
They just
and
can't
then they
help
hit
themselves.
the end, and people were pissed.
They were, because it's not.
I
the
know
same as
one
the animated
person
feature.
who liked it, but that is one person out of everybody else I know, and they all hate. Like, it's not just dislike. Oh no! People are literally like people from two different political aisles that hate each other agreed to hate this movie.
We won't know if the movies are bad.
You actually
until
had a
we
chance
see-
to have trans representation, and then they threw it away.
Right?
We won't know if the movie until we see if any of these films have legs. Okay, and not just any one of them. At least 4 or 5 of them through the summer, because we talked about this before. Like sometimes COVID plus one or two other economic factors basically killed off the idea of going out to the movie, having dinner, going to the movies, you and your friends hanging out, maybe seeing 2 movies, as a social activity. That all got killed off. People don't do that anymore, and the question is there a way to get that back? Can they enhance these theaters enough?
And they win it again.
And not
they need
cost
to make
as much as a baseball game.
No, movies are very expensive. So I'm gonna use me as an example, because I live in the most expensive fucking place in the world. If I go to the movies with my wife, tickets are $40 right off the bat if we're going to an evening movie, not a matinee. And if we want to get concessions, we want to get popcorn and a beverage, that's going to be at least another $30 on top of the $40 I pay for movies. So now we're at $65 to see a movie. That's a lot of money. It's a lot of for me. I can pay it. I don't care. For a lot of people, that is a lot of. It's not just like,
Well, the issue is that
it's a lot of money.
The issue is that they
and movies.
They made their bet on these big blockbuster movies that had to make huge amounts of money. People got out of the habit of going to mid-range movies because there weren't any, and it has killed theaters, which I think is a shame.
Yes.
And even now, even when there is a good mid-range movie that people might see, because of it's part of it's the expense, and part of it is people say, if I wait 2 weeks, it's on streaming.
Mm-hmm.
Also, you may not remember this, Goat, but Shieldwall, you'll remember this. Do you remember when you would go to the theater, the multiplex, the six theater, and there were no mid-range movies? They were all good movies.
Like 1987, I remember that summer.
I remember that.
When
any choice you made was a good choice. Right now, you have maybe 1 or 2 good choices, and you have a bunch of kind of why is that even a movie?
I remember when Indiana Jones, or not Indiana Jones, but I'm trying to think of a good example. There's a couple of movies out there that were considered mid-range that are actually like masterpieces now. Trying to think of one, but there were a lot of them in the 80s. But you were saying, Goat, like what do you consider a mid-range movie?
Yeah, I was talking budget-wise. I was talking
right.
I was talking.
No. I'm talking.
I wasn't even talking budget. I was talking quality. So that's.
No, but I see what she's saying. They were movies that were made anywhere between $20 and $30 million, and they'd make $60 million and be good. They'd make
but people also went to the theater for them, and Nobody's going to the theater for anything other than blockbusters now, and then they all suck, so they don't go to the.
Well, there's multiple reasons for that. One is
Of
it's
course
so
there are.
expensive to go, but also with streaming, and you got big flat screen TVs now. Back in the day, if you wanted
Yep.
to have anything bigger than like
It's
maybe a 40-inch CRT, you had to get that projection TV thing, and that sucked anyway. If
That's-
you had right in front of it. But
that's
now,
the excuse, but part of going to the movies is the social thing. I mean,
yeah, but nobody
last-
wants to go to the movies anymore because people don't know how to socialize.
But no,
You
they,
go
they
there
do.
no one cares about
They
the social
socialize in
thing
their
anymore.
homes. People have movie parties
Right.
in houses and stuff now.
No, but what I
Well-
mean is, it depending on where you live, you have to fight a crowd. People are rude. They throw trash everywhere. They leave the seats tore apart. You just don't want to go to the theater anymore because you don't want to have to struggle through all that.
Oh yeah. We talked
But I
about
mean,
before, the people who are the infantile teens and adults who aren't trained to behave in public. No one wants to deal with that crap anymore.
I
Infinity.
worked in a movie theater in the 1980s for several years, and I actually very much enjoyed my job. It was fun. I was the guy at the door. I was the guy who walked down the aisles, making sure your fucking feet weren't up, and I was the guy who also ultimately put the movies together, spliced them together, and ran the movies. I loved that job. That's going to be one of my favorite jobs in my life forever because it was fucking movies. People came to the
there was
theater.
also a thing too where
It was a very
you know,
different age.
especially when I was a kid, and I know, you know, I'm one of the younger guys on the panel, so even before me, it was even more so. When you were a kid, that was like one of the things that was allotted to you to do because it was so inexpensive.
It
Where,
was,
you know, if I
Go
had
to the
12
movies. Get
bucks,
outta here. Go
I
to the
could go I
movies.
could go to the movies, and you know, or you know, and a lot of them were in malls, so if there was nothing
Yes.
going, I
Other
could
shit.
hang out, and then if nothing was going on, well, at the very least, I could go see a movie, and it was relatively inexpensive, and you know,
So,
they've
15-year-old
taken all the
boy
magic out of it.
and girl right now going to the movie theater. They're looking at what, a $60 experience at the minimum?
Yeah.
That seems like a lot
Yeah.
for
Well,
people
even
who,
by me, I think it's like 40
and I know
bucks.
minimum wage is not the same and all that other shit. I made $3.25 when I worked at the theater. By the way, $3.25, $3.25.
It's not 1965 anymore.
No, it was that. This was in 1987.
Yeah, I'm talking about 1999, 2003. You know,
Well, the money, but the money I made back in the mid '80s was no money, and I get that. It was like I said, it was no money, but that little bit of money at the end of the week, I was able to save up, and I was able to do stuff with my friends, my girlfriend, put gas in my car, pay my insurance, all that stuff, based on $3.25 an hour, working 6 hours a day at a movie theater. You can't do that now. You can't. That's a lost fucking world. And then you throw movies out now that are fucking mid-range at best. Lilo and Stitch, who no one fucking asked for to be live action, but you're charging them to go to the theater at least $20 a person to go to a primetime movie. So let's say you have a family of 3. So now that's $60. You, your wife, and your kid are going to this fucking movie to see this fucking little space monkey. And now you want to buy popcorn for your fucking kid, who you like, because they're your kid, but you they want to get beverages for everyone. That's at least another $40. Fuck. Now you're at $100 to go to the movies. Why? Why is streaming beating movies? I'll tell you why. Because streaming is not $100 fucking dollars.
Right.
Well, and now you have things like this where you know you see this Lilo and Stitch, right? One that
should have been slam dunk.
Yeah, slam dunk. And then you know they throw in their stupid politics or at the ending.
The end fucked it up for a lot of people.
You've paid all that money for them to give you the finger. No, I'm not giving them another dime. If I did that, I'd be infuriated.
Oh, that like all of my normie friends are like up in arms over this movie because
And you're like, first time?
Right.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy.
Yeah, that meme.
And like the thing with this movie in particular, it literally changed the entire core of the movie
Yes, the
because
family. The meaning
the
of the family.
whole thing, Ohana is family. Family does, or yeah, Ohana is family. Family means nobody is left behind. Guess who got left behind in this movie?
Funny story. Yeah. So again, fuck off, Disney. You have made a message that people don't resonate with. It's upsetting people who saw the original movie, you know, back when, and people who, you know, just want to see a fucking movie that is good about family. So, well done, Disney.
Actually,
cock that.
do you guys remember the wokeness started with this one when the actress they cast to play one of the characters? She's a native-born Hawaiian, but she wasn't like dark-skinned enough
or
or
dark
white
skinned
enough.
darker.
whatever.
Oh, I
Yeah.
do remember that.
Yeah.
I saw somebody on
Yep.
TikTok complain that that's why the movie failed.
Yeah, that's what it is.
I haven't. I don't think I've watched the entire original animated
Oh, it's so
Lilo and
good.
Stitch. I've just seen like pieces of it and stuff, and
I've never seen the movie. I don't care
and
about
I
it.
didn't
don't
really
like
care
Space
about
Monkeys
this
or
one.
people from Hawaii. So.
Well, I like for
Um,
me, like there was even a TV series after this. Like I
There
love
was.
of course
Stitch.
there was.
Like one, I come from a broken family, so like this like spoke to me like in a very deep way, and there's a lot of people that it did the same for, and so for them to like mess this one up in a like as much as they did, because at the end of the day, like basically the message they're saying is Nani got to live her life and she didn't have to worry about the responsibility of her sister.
No, she
anymore.
said fuck it, which reminds me basically of my life. So that's what I get from that. I was raised by wolves. I had no parenting. That's not the message you
You should
want
see-
to get across.
Again, we saw the signs of this wokeness with this film, so you knew they were going to do something with it.
Right. It's just it's funny to me that this is the film that's waking so many people up, and now it's like too late because they're already like changing course.
Well, it's like
Oh,
it's like,
because
it's
you
like
say things like these new like woke, these new woke writers, like they hate the nuclear family. They don't, that was like they don't like traditional morals, and people were like, where are you getting that from? And it was like, and now you can be like, you know what? Go watch the new Lilo and Stitch. Have a good day.
Enjoy it.
it's every time they do this, they get a different group of people who are waking up to the situation. So I think enough. They've fucked with enough culture that finally.
That's
That's
exactly
why we
it.
got all 7
It's-
swing states.
That's exactly it, Matt. They've burned through enough IPs to finally hit one that a lot more people are caring about.
Oh yeah. Well, speaking of what another IP to burn through.
So this one is interesting. So you got Harry in the middle, who looks like a fine young lad. You got whatever his fucking retard friend name is.
Ron.
Ronald Weasley.
Ron looks good, and then you've got Hermione, who is now his Hispanic girl. I'm sure she is a lovely girl, and I'm not disparaging the actors in this.
Here's-
But
the
casting
thing
wise,
is,
That's the part. She's got the big old buck teeth.
They're
This does
they're
not
using
fit
this
the
little
fucking
girl's race.
book.
They're using this little girl's
no,
race
they are.
to get political points.
Yep.
Well,
It's
except
disgusting.
that no, she is actually physically more accurate to the book than
She is.
Yeah, much more so.
Besides the hair.
Oh, she is. I've never.
No,
read the
she
book,
is
so-
no, she is physically more. She is closer to the lore than
Yeah.
in the previous version by a
She
lot.
is.
I thought that she was a redhead though, right?
Nope,
No,
she had.
she
she is
got thick,
described-
wavy hair.
Yeah, she's described
You're
as having
right.
thick, wavy hair, buck teeth.
Mhm, mhm.
She's described as not being terribly pretty until she has her makeover.
right.
So-
Sorry,
so,
I
Goat,
was.
I'm gonna
I
ask you a
got my
question, Goat.
wires crossed. Sorry, you're correct.
Also,
They've made the
She is-
films. They've made those films over the many years that they made the film.
she is at least partially native-born British. So
Does it matter?
It does in the sense of.
Well, does what matter?
Does it matter what people have in their heads as what Hermione should look like versus
look, we have
Hermione
spent all this time talking about comic book lore and how they've ruined it. And if you now tell me that book lore doesn't matter because you don't like her race, that
No. I will throw you
that's
Guy
not
Gardner.
it at all. The
Guy
problem,
Gardner
the
looked like a
problem
fucking
is
retard in the comic
when you
books.
use
I don't want him to look like
the
that.
race for political points. That's the problem I have. If they're doing it just to make a good show, great. But if they're using this little girl for her race, that's wrong.
if they're doing that, then yes, I totally agree with you. But in this
Overall,
case, she does physically look the part better. And the thing is that people who are complaining about, well, she should be lighter complected. So Alan Rickman was wonderful, but he was 20 years too old, and it made an enormous difference to the story.
It certainly did.
Like, Snape is a totally different person in the book because he's only supposed to be in his early 30s.
25. No, I thought he was supposed to be like 25, 20.
Early 30s, because he and both Harry's parents die. Well, Harry's parents die before they're like 20.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they died at 23.
Okay.
Yeah. And so he's already working as a double agent as a teenager, has the woman he loves killed by the time he's 22, and then spends the rest of his life
agent.
Yeah. And this story takes place at 35 while he's still recovering from all of that. And that makes a huge difference when you compare that to a guy who's in his late 50s or early 60s or whatever Alan Rickman was at the time.
No, he wasn't. He was not that old when he started the project.
He was still much older.
He was
older than the character,
but he wasn't quite that old. I am that old.
He was still much too old, and the fact that but he did a good job, and nobody ever.
Well, but they also made the context basically the same. Harry's parents were about the same age, so you're not doing a wild radical shift in that way, because it's not like Harry's parents are like way younger. They're all about the same.
But it's important
as far as contextually.
I'm saying that's a misstep that the movies made. It was important that they're young, because like you have to realize, one, when you have all these older characters talking about like what a threat Voldemort was and everything, well, that seemed like that happened, 20,
Decades
30 years ago. And it was like, no, this only happened like 12 years ago. This happened when Harry was born. It makes it feel makes it hit closer to home. But I also don't care about the all British casting. I think what's his face's Dumbledore is going to do a really good job. But
Alan Rickman was 54 when they started filming and 64 when they got done.
Oh, he was. Good Lord.
Yeah,
okay.
But
his debut role in movies, he was like 41 or something.
Die Hard.
Yeah, Die Hard.
But admittedly, it still doesn't bother me that much.
My only point was that
because they made it work well within this giant universe of films.
But they didn't. If you're big on lore, which I happen to be, and you're going to argue about lore in comics, and you're going to argue about lore in Lord of the Rings.
I don't argue a lot about lore in comics. I argue a little bit.
Well, not you specifically, but like in general, if people are going to argue, if people are going to argue about
Guy Gardner's haircut, I will go back to that every time. It's fucking stupid, and they shouldn't do it.
Well, it's like the movie fans for Lord of the Rings. Okay, I mean they're great movies, but they're not great adaptations. So.
Yeah, and if people are going to complain about, how well something is adapted, then that means the things that, like literally the Hermione thing. I said Hermione was too, and Snape. Hermione and Snape are both too attractive, and that made a difference. And people said, "Oh, well, that doesn't matter because that's just Hollywood." And I was like, "Well, it's Hollywood to change people's race too. Like, what's the difference?"
Yeah. Although they're gonna have a rough time.
I
With
can't
changing
agree with that.
Snape's race.
Can't agree with
Mhm.
that. I will honor your opinion, but I don't agree with it.
What I'm
They're
saying
gonna
is
have a
you can
rough time.
you can either argue lore or you cannot
Nope.
argue lore.
Well,
You
can
can't
actually
you can't do both.
You can do both because there's a certain point where things become absurd. Where
But
you
it's
cross
not-
over the line where it is no longer the character that is even remotely the same. As
But that's
both
what
the character that is at least kind of the same.
But that's what I'm saying.
There's-
When you have characters, when you have other characters who were previously not at all the same, and people go, "Oh well, yeah, but that was fine because reasons." I'm not arguing that they should make Snape black. I'm arguing that Alan Rickman should have been the right age in the first place. I'm not arguing whether or not this guy should be black.
The unfortunate
But
thing is
he's-
I can't argue with you on this because I've never read it. I've only seen.
I'm telling you, they're setting themselves up for some openly racist stuff.
Yes, they are. Yeah,
Like the first
with Black
three books.
Snape in particular.
The first
yeah.
three books, they're like, I can't put my finger on it, but Snape is up to something.
Well,
Also,
so my,
Oh.
here's the other thing with Harry's dad and the Marauders, they bullied Snape.
He hangs him from a
horrendously.
tree. He hangs him from a tree.
What are you gonna do with that?
At the very least, that's racist.
but I
So,
see.
I-
I think
I-
I think they didn't. I didn't think they got. I don't think they got that far. I think they got as far as if we make Hermione a person of color, then we have to make one of the teachers a person of color because otherwise it becomes about race and instead
Then
of
make McGonagall a person of color.
oh yeah,
Here's
it
the
was
thing though.
it was not a good choice.
In what I can't brain.
But they-
why have you left me?
They didn't. They
Author.
didn't. They didn't. They wanted to separate race from the mudblood idea.
That too.
which they've now poisoned.
Well, no, see, this guy Papa Isiadu, they're setting this guy apparently, when I read, is a very good actor.
yeah.
He's a lot of Shakespearean work, and
That's
I mean-
fine, but there's
And he-
a that's fine, but because that fine but does define certain
well,
characters.
that's the thing. Like, I normally never used to care about having an actor match the ethnicity of the character, but since they've
James
gone
Bond.
full in on this woke stuff, right? Then I'm now insisting that if the character is English, he better be played by an English guy. You know what I mean? If you're going to do this swapping stuff, my retaliation is I want lore accuracy. Like I want Hermione, even if she to be at least partially native born English. Like.
But now they're setting themselves up to get upset, where you're going to have this character who is picked on, is discriminated against, and you've made him a different color when it has nothing to do with that. When he's actually the prejudiced one, when he doesn't like non-magic people,
And-
you know, it
yes.
was like when
Granted,
he's the guy with the hateful ideology.
I have only
Like
ever
it doesn't
read-
work.
I have only ever read the books once, so I don't know enough to say this. But
But
I think
I
believe she has
actually have to
included
bounce.
black characters in the books.
Oh, do you have to go, Sammy?
I do. I got my new show tonight.
Well, Sammy, I'm going to
Yep,
send
so,
you a message because I got a narrative, something discovered narrative that you may not have noticed. I'm going to send you a message.
But yes, if you go on Rumble, it'll be
God.
my new show is Two Sieves and a Pig, and I'm trying to figure out what the channel's called real quick. It is
I don't know how to help this.
it's called Lights Camera Citation. So if you just want to jump onto Rumble and check that out after the show's over, I'd be more than grateful. But we're just going to be making fun of stupid people getting arrested. I'll see y'all later.
Have a good night,
My
Sammy.
man. All right,
Bye,
Sammy.
guys.
Later, Sammy.
I mean, people are hung up on Snape's race a bunch, and I get why. But the other issue is that his two defining characteristics that lead him into being an asshole are that he is very ugly and he's poor. And they cast an extremely confident, attractive man. And that is going to
is
have
subjective.
a much... I mean, I think if you ask 90% of the straight women out there, they're gonna.
Women, yes.
Well, Yes, but it's
Yeah, but how
never
many-
mind.
how
That is
many-
the point.
How many ugly actors and actresses are there really? And look at like
no, there
Brianna
are not. No, that's the problem. Is no,
But they
you're-
didn't. They didn't have to
in the
cast
modern
somebody that
era.
was well known. I mean, they could have easily.
They
mean,
could
look,
have.
It looked what it worked well for Wolverine. They could have
Mhm.
found it. They could have found a younger Steve Buscemi, and like it would have been perfect. And the whole point is that Snape is unconfident. He's not confident. He overcompensates by acting arrogant. He's unattractive.
These things
He's
are
used to
so
being rejected. He's used to being beat up.
Your problem is Alan Rickman.
who was the dude who played Wormtongue?
No, I don't. No. I'm not even talking about Alan Rickman. I'm talking about
the character. of
Grimer
Snape.
Wormtongue. Oh my god.
I never remember that guy's name.
he would have been good.
And
No,
I mean,
he's
still-
but he
again,
would've been
too
hard-
old,
He's too
but-
old. Too old. He's
Right.
way too old.
Yeah,
Wasn't
He's
that
old.
Brad
He's way
Dourif?
older than Alan Rickman.
here's,
I was gonna
here's
say he's still
my-
too old, but at least looks wise, he's better.
Yeah. Well, I'm
No,
saying,
I-
get someone, I was going to say,
They
get
also
someone
shaved
like
his
him.
eyebrows off.
I was going to say, get someone like him. You know what I
Here's,
mean?
Right.
here's the other thing about these three. We haven't actually seen them in costume yet, with like all their, how they're supposed to look in costume. So I think a lot of times they'll look different because the actress that they got to portray Astrid in the live action How to Train Your Dragon looks a little different in costume than she does in like headshot promo footage and stuff.
Right.
So I think we need to see them like in costume, kind of how with Snow White, how that actress actually started looking worse once she got into the costume
Actually
and she had
worse,
the
yeah.
Lord Fuckwood
was-
haircut or whatever.
Amazing, frankly. You usually don't get that, but
So I think that her being cast that way is fine. I think maybe the Snape casting is just too much of a change for the character. It kind of takes you out of it. You know what I mean? Unless you're trying to do a what if scenario or be very like artsy with it. You know what I mean? Like, what if we cast the entire royal family as black and just roll with it? But if you're trying to make this a faithful adaptation of the book, that's to me that's
Well,
just
but
not the way to go.
That's what I mean. They already haven't because
Right.
the Snape casting is too good looking.
Here's
Wait a
the
minute.
thing. Here's
I
the
got an
thing
idea.
with that.
I got an idea. Wait, I got an idea. Remember that billionaire Nigerian prince that was giving all his money away to us years ago? We should get him to fund the Nigerian adaptation of Harry Potter.
That would be awesome.
no,
But
no.
here's part of the controversy and why as someone I am a giant fan of Harry Potter. I've got tons of merch, huge fan. The problem that has happened is J.K. Rowling has tried to change lore herself, which brings forth a whole other conspiracy our continuity issues. And while she is the author, technically what she says is lore and canon, it muddies the waters. It really does, because there have been some times where she has said both Snape and Hermione are black. That was her idea, even though she did not describe them that way.
No.
Well,
I think she said that they could.
She certainly didn't with her
Yeah.
with Snape.
Snape is specifically
greasy
described
haired.
as being pale and greasy. Yeah.
Yes. But
Hermione,
she has
however,
since gone
Hermione
back and said,
Hermione, however, if you look at her description, Hermione could be black. She
Yeah,
is
she could be.
specifically described as having curly, wild hair, and pretty much all the stereotypes.
What's
and
the
that's
word?
fine. It's just one of those things that she with J.K. Rowling trying to retcon her own lore. It has created issues with, well, if she says that something's different, then what's canon at that point?
But
I
I'm
used
going
to-
to ask a question right now that I don't necessarily know the answer to. Did J.K. Rowling have a hand in who was cast in the
Yes.
films?
She is.
I-
yes, in the films and in this project.
She said she was going to insist on an all English cast, though, and the first person that they specifically mentioned as being definite wasn't English. So she may have had a say, but I don't know how much final say she had.
My man Copa. So
Well, wait a
that's
minute.
what I mean, though. She says, so she has a hand in casting, and then whatever. Whatever. Roman doesn't care anymore because Roman's not going to watch the show, so it doesn't matter.
And I just bring that point in as like the argument has become muddied now because of her own statements.
I don't know. To Goat, that actor who played that was going to play Snape, he was born in England.
I care because, number one, I think it affects the overall thing that we need to stop paying attention to how they're changing lore on a lot more than just the race. People are focusing on it. And like the Hunger Games, I have very strong feeling. I have much stronger feelings about the Hunger Game because the book was truly amazing and the movie was garbage.
Which one?
A couple of things.
All of the movies.
Things that the movies did.
Yeah, I don't care about the Hunger Games literally at all. So we're not going to talk about that. We're going to talk about
but we've been primed on. We've been primed on focusing on the race.
Right,
Because
and I also
every time we see it, it's been politics shoved into it and stuff we don't like. So we've been primed to look at that.
I'm also worried about what it's going to do to that little girl.
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I don't worry about that at all. That is a Hollywood problem, and it's not my problem.
So yeah, Goat's gotta go. She's got.
Yeah, I gotta bounce.
Are you bailing on me, Goat?
I think I specifically told you I needed a 10 o'clock.
No, you
Yeah, and she does. She is gonna bail on you. She has.
I know
she has
you got
paid a
stuff to
bail.
do.
I gotta go. I got 20 babies to go check on. So
I know you're very busy. That's a lot. You had like an incredible couple weeks. It's amazing. Thank you for hanging out with us, though.
And I have an unexpected mother that needs milking before I can go to bed. So
that's mildly sexual. That I'm just going to leave right there.
Yeah.
No, trust me. No, it is definitely not.
Not for you, but for us.
Well, it was great having you on the show.
Yeah, have a great night. I appreciate the
later.
What are you doing, Goat? What do you got coming up?
Not a whole lot until Slice and Dice next week. I did so I run a lot of role-playing games. I've had way too many ideas in my head lately, so I've been making little mini videos about, potential Viking stories I might write, down the line or whatever. I have a company that sent me some books to review that I'm going to be doing as soon as I can manage that in my spare time. And I'm still desperately hoping that the weekend before 28 Years Later comes out, I'm going to do a history of zombie movies. I am not competing with the big channels on reviewing 28 Years Later, so I thought I would do a history on how we got there. So that is me.
All right.
Right on, Goat. Well, thank you for hanging out with us tonight.
Have a great night.
Good luck with the baby goats.
Later, Goat.
Thank you. Bye.
She's always so good. She's always so good. So we're gonna look at let's take a gander at what we have left here. Don't care. No, don't care. Don't care. This one's kind of fun. This is comic book news for those of you who actually pay attention to comic book news. They're gonna have a Deadpool and Batman crossover. I think this is cool.
I'm not big on crossovers.
I like crossovers. You shut up, Jacob.
So basically, Deadpool is going to kill a whole bunch of Batman villains, and Batman's going to try to stop him. That's my prediction.
Yeah, that's what I think too. But the concept I'm okay with. You get what you get with these things. That nice cover art.
I hope they don't wokeify this.
Yeah, me too.
So here's my question: is if they are actually going to fight each other, how can it be interesting when Deadpool's fighting somebody that's not going to mutilate him and let him use his healing abilities and be
No,
snarky
well,
about how
no,
he just
exactly.
gets
It's
Actually, if Batman knows he can't kill him, he'll mutilate the shit out of him. Like
We'll
Batman, when Batman fights Killer
Yeah.
Croc or someone with who he can't actually kill, like he'll
Mm.
blow them up.
Yeah, once he figures out that you can blow his legs off and he'll be perfectly fine, he'll use those tactics to like beat him. Basically, he'll outthink him and then do whatever, Like he
Lock
won't
him in
have
a
any
box.
compunction about like running his feet over with the Batmobile and crushing his ankles because he knows it's not permanently going to damage him. And but he'll do that.
But he can separate his head from his body and know that that head has to go back there. That's going to be gold. That's the way I look at it.
Actually, I don't know if Deadpool can live through that.
He can.
He
Deadpool
can.
could be
live. He can live.
So
with
he's
just
the
one
same as
atom.
Wolverine exactly then.
No.
He's better.
No. Not so. Wolverine used to have a little gimmick to his death regeneration, right? So in Marvel, okay, this is a Marvel thing, right? If you die, right, and you could regenerate, the Angel of Death will fight you and to see if you come back. If you beat the Angel of Death, you come back. Right?
I didn't know that.
This is how they explain. This is how they explain Wolverine always coming back, right?
Because I remember Wolverine, he got blown up and he had like this little piece of his brain and like skull, and he totally regenerated from that.
So as long as you beat the Angel of Death, you can regenerate if you're a regenerator. Now, the thing is, once the Angel of Death wins one fight, he don't want to fight you anymore. So next time you die, like super die like that, you're gone.
Done.
Yeah.
So this is the last thing we're going to look at tonight. The trailer is coming out this weekend, but the still looks really fucking good. The Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein. I'm excited about this. The only thing that bothers me is it's going to be on fucking Netflix.
Okay, so
I fucking hate Netflix. I don't have Netflix, so I'm going to have to go.
Don't worry too much
surfing
about it,
this thing,
Roman.
but
Don't worry about it, Roman.
my man.
Yeah.
But the visuals alone on this, and that Guillermo del Toro has a part of this, are exciting.
This could be great.
I'm hoping this is going to be the best Frankenstein we get. I want an accurate Frankenstein.
This could be great or horrible. Del Toro, when he has total control of a project, sometimes can make it horrible.
Yeah, I know. George Lucas.
Yeah, but sometimes it could be great. I just hope that either he has someone in control of him or he's going to do great. Because if this is successful, we're going to finally get them to fund his.
Is this a series or a movie?
It's a movie.
It's going to be a movie.
If this is successful, someone might finally fund him doing in the Mountains of Madness. If you look at
So here we have.
Nice. If it's done
Is
right.
that it? Is that all you've
Sammy
got for
got
me,
his
Del
time
Toro?
zones wrong.
By the way, if anyone else wants to see a really good sort of found footage Frankenstein movie, I think it's called The Frankenstein Conspiracy. And it's one of the descendants of the Frankenstein family goes looking for the monster like in modern times. And I'm not going to spoil it, but it's one of the better done found footage films you'll ever see.
Cool.
So, I mean, that's kind of, for fuck's sake. Yes. No, cancel because I want to close this thing out. My computer's yelling at me. So that's it for tonight, folks. There was a fun run through of a bunch of random stories. Good conversation. Mild drunkenness, only mild though, not too much. But it was good. Pop culture continues to disappoint me, though. It does. I look at it when I go into the weekly thing. It's like, fuck. It's so disappointing because there's just not much coming out right now that is worth talking about. It's like you're really gonna do a lot of digging to find conversational pieces. But here we are, with you this week once again. But
Yeah, I got to drop Roman. My pain factor is spiking right now.
Oh, okay, got it. All right, buddy. So we'll see you next week.
Yep.
Or this week sometime with other things.
Later, Matt.
Okay. Later, guys.
All right.
Have a good one, Matt.
No,
Glad Matt was able to make it back this week. It's been a rough week for him. I've lost my train of thought. It's closing.
Derailed.
puppy.
Funny stories, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, so thank you for being with us this week, all of you over on X and YouTube. We have quite an audience tonight. It's actually been very good numbers. So thank you for hanging out with us. I very much appreciate that. That helps the channel. It helps us stay alive and not die off into some bramble bush on the side of the road that no one looks at. So thank you for hanging out with us tonight. Both the chat was always funny, brilliant, mildly offensive, and the panel, who is pretty much the same thing. So thanks for hanging out with us tonight. So Shieldwall, what do you have coming up for the next few days, my friend?
On Tuesday next week, I'm going to be on Jacob Ironside's channel, and I forgot what we're doing. We're doing something cool. It'll be fun.
X-Files.
X-Files. Oh, that's right. X-Files. Oh, yeah, that's always good. Tune in for that. Yeah, that's a great show. And we will always be making fun of Mulder's ties and Scully's shoulder pads. Great 90s review. So it'll be fun. And then whatever we're doing on this channel next week on Tuesday.
I don't know.
Thursday.
I'm still in an impasse, but I think I know what we're doing.
Yeah, stay tuned.
Spectrum.
We'll figure it out.
Spectrum.
I am on X, and so what you'll see on that content for me is basically me just retweeting whatever these guys say that we're doing. So that's about it. Every once in a while, I might post a rant about people parking, putting gas in their car, and then leaving the car at the spot and just walking away, and going inside and shopping, which I can't stand.
That bothers me greatly.
Yeah,
I
it's
didn't
terrible.
park. I didn't park. I didn't
Yeah,
turn
it's
the
just-
car off.
Yeah, that's even worse. But anyways, great show tonight. Great chat. Lots of fun. It was great having the goat on, and Sam and everybody, and Matt, and everybody being here, sir. So, and also congratulations to Jacob on finding a place to move into. So that's good news.
That's great news.
Yeah, it's great news. And yeah, so yep, that's it for me.
Right on, my brother. Jacob. X-Files and
Yep.
what else?
X-Files Tuesday. And I thought we were doing, are we doing Spectral next week?
I think so. I'd say I think so. I still
Okay.
have it on the shelf with a big piece of tape on it, but that's primarily what we're going to do.
Oh. Alrighty. That's all I got.
I
That's
know.
all
I'm
got. I'll be here
unreliable
next
as a
week.
host. I apologize. Mando and your dog.
Hello. He's trying to lay across my keyboard, which is great. Please stop. Let's see. I am still in the midst of would you stop? Soccer
You're such a
season.
good
There's
boy.
like 2 more weeks left in the season. So hopefully back to a normal schedule, at least for a little while. And this Sunday, I will be rolling some dice again with my friends, playing some Pathfinder, where we are pirates. And yeah, I am dog sitting for a little bit. Yeah, thank you for the kisses. Are you apologizing because you sat on my keyboard? No, okay. So
No.
so yes.
Right on,
Wait.
Mando. Thank you for being with us.
Boo says
What?
my channel is Shadowband.
What?
He couldn't find you.
You got shadow band or something on? Oh, I don't know. These are things I
First
can't
time
answer.
hearing about it. Stop trying.
Well, let's
okay,
let's
yes,
let's take a look at that, Mando. But thank you for being here with us tonight. Beard of Liberty, who looks mildly panicked, and I think those are my hands.
They are.
But they are. I can tell those are my hands. What's going on, my friend?
This Saturday night on After the Weekend, R2 and I will be taking a look at the movie. Great Outdoors. That's right. That's what it is. Dan Aykroyd and John Candy. So we take a look at
The
that
Great
one.
Outdoors. Oh my God, that movie is so good.
It's
Dan Aykroyd's
probably
character
I
is
may have
named
seen part of that before,
Roman.
but I don't recall any of it. So it'll be basically a first watch for me.
Oh, that movie is so fun. The raccoons, it's great. That's a good fucking movie.
Right.
It's fun.
Well, after that on Tuesday, I'll be at Jacobs for X-Files and probably back here on Thursday.
Right on. So next week, I plan on doing the movie Spectral, which is a Netflix movie, which oddly is not horrible, though. It's a really good movie. It's weird and it's fun. There's a lot of good combat footage in it. So that's what I plan on doing next week at 5 Pacific Standard on Thursday, for those who don't know what time I come on. If you'd like to and you're not, please subscribe to the channel. We've kind of hit a weird wall at 572. Like to grow that. Let's get us up to the 600 mark. Please get us there if you can. And for the rest of you, thank you for hanging out with us. It's always great to have you with us. And we are on X and we are on YouTube. So thank you all for hanging out with us during this time. And until next time, please be kind.
You